We are back for another season of the 60 plus racing adventures at Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. Is going to be round one on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. This is obviously Spa, and for those of you who are new to the series, this is a series for older generation of racers who may not be able to find some good racing elsewhere, so they can all come here. We have some quick drivers as well in this series, and always lots of action here at Spa. Always seems to throw up good races as well, because you get the lots of draft using the Pro Mazda car, which obviously not very highly used on the iRacing service, but always throws up good racing as well. Hugo Luis up in the production office and Tom Jacobs alongside me. Looking at the weather, it's going to be 26 degrees, 55% humidity, mostly cloudy, and no wind, which is rare for the Ardennes forest. We are going to be having a 17-lap race. There's going to be 73 miles a race, and track length we're going to be looking at just over 4 miles and 21 turns. So qualifying looks like it's coming to an end, but first of all, Tom, obviously Spa, it's a legendary circuit, always throws up good racing.
Yeah, it's always fantastic racing. We've seen it a lot from the 90s and F1 and through to the 2000s, and then down to today with all the hybrid stuff with World Endurance and things like that. So I think today we should see some really good racing from the guys.
Schedule for season 6 of the 60 plus racing adventures is up on your screen at the moment. 3 lives round from us. They're going to be Spa-Francorchamps, Laguna Seca, and the final rounder. Give me a moment. It's going to be Road America, and that will round out. They obviously have a 12-week season, which is going to be following, I think it's 1 week behind the official series. So everyone now going to be lining up down on the starting grid, and let's go down to the RaceSpot grid. Steven Kartner is going to be taking pole in the 75 machine with a 2:17.806. Jos van der Ven, your second place finisher last season, is going to be in second. Mark Robertson in third and John Unsby in fourth. Bill Lawrence is going to be starting in fifth and Richard Coulomb in sixth. Your season 5 champion, Stephen Rostian, is going to be in seventh with Rodrigo de Pasqua in eighth. Manning Grennan is going to be ninth with John Morgan rounding out your top 10.
Kenneth Baldwin in 11th with Bruce Paul right behind him in 12th. Dre Fields in 13th with Joel Martin in 14th. Ralph Kemmerer is in 15th. Followed by him is Gerard Florison down in 16th. Andrew Fiddler is in 17th. Charles Gilly behind him in 18th with Gianni Raspaldo in 19th. And then rounding out your top 20 is Michael Goralski in 20th.
John Hill going to be lining up 21st with David Riley alongside him in 22nd. 23rd is going to be Mark Lyson. 24th, Ralph Just. He's going to be a new name to the series. Hopefully we'll see a lot from him. Jose Carlos Campodonico is going to be 25th. Michael Hilliard in 26th. PJ Sally, Michael Knapp, and John Fletcher are going to be rounding out your 29 car field. And Tom, final thoughts before the start of this race? Obviously you're new to the series, and any names jumping out at you of people that you may have seen before on the iRacing service?
Yeah, I've seen a bit of Steven Kartner and John Unsby as well. Those guys seem to be really, really quick. Mark Robertson, and he did quite well. And Jos van der Ven did quite well in practice. So looking forward to this one.
Well, we are rolling here, and Steven Kartner is going to be leading the field round. Long time since I've seen Steven at the front of the field in this series. He's had a bit of success a couple of seasons ago, so dropped back last season. Stephen Rostian sort of really took the honours of that. He's down in 7th today, but watch him throughout the race. He always seems to have good race pace. So Steven Kartner is going to be leading your thrill through Blanchimont up towards the bus stop chicane. We are on the Grand Prix layout. They have to do a pit stop, I believe, as well, which is mandatory. So heading up to the bus stop chicane just before the start. They're going to be starting on the F1 start as opposed to the endurance start, which takes you round the source and down the hill towards Eau Rouge. So we're going to be flat through Eau Rouge for the first lap. So here we go. Steven Kartner is going to be leading your field round. We're going to go for some RaceSpot fan immersion. Nice and cleanly away there as we start. Stephen Rostian is going to try and go around the outside of, I believe, who is that ahead of him? That is John Unsby. He's lost a place there. So Stephen Rogen tried to go around the outside of John Unsby there at the start. John Unsby has lost a couple of positions. Looks as though Steven Kartner is going to be defending off of Jos van der Ven coming into Le Combe for the first time. Jos just not close enough to make a move. Obviously, longer races here this season as well. And obviously, anything you saw there from the start from your view, Tom?
Yeah, it looks to be Jos van der Ven seems to be closed him a little bit. Quite interesting going down the straight there. Bit of 3 wide, so I'm really looking forward to this one. First lap thoughts. It's going well, to be fair. Everyone seems to be cleaning through, so we're looking good.
Heading out to P1 for the first time, Jos van der Ven looks like he's dropped a little bit of time. Mark Robertson, though, another name that we see quite often here in the 60 Plus Racing Adventures, riding his tail. Bill Lawrence has managed to get past John Unsby at the start, and looks as though Stephen Rochen hasn't been able to capitalise on what looked like a good start for him. So at the moment, everyone cleanly away. Usually we do see some good clean racing in this series, and at the moment it looks as though the best person who got the best start was Michael Hillard. He's up 5 places along with Michael Knapp, but other than that, everyone just sort of seems to be staying where they are. And I think it's because it's a longer race. You'll probably see a lot more people just looking after their car a little bit more. But Bill Lawrence at the moment looking strong. And in fact, Mark Robertson may be going a move for second. Let's see what he can do here. He's going to go to try and look to the inside into Blanchimont. Can he do it? No, he can't, because he's out of the draft. Jos van der Ven has got the draft of Steven Kartner ahead, who's managed to pull out a little bit of a gap. And here we go into the bus stop. Is anything going to happen?
He seems to be getting pounded in that dirty air a little bit along the straight. Let's see what he can do in the chicane here. Yeah, he's got quite a good drive out of there. Seems to be pulling away from John Unsby a little bit as Mark Robertson. So just about settling in now, getting into the rhythm and getting into your groove, and then, you know, seeing what sort of places you can make up along the way.
Exactly, and Steven Kartner has managed to lead your first lap. Doesn't look like there's been much moving around up and down your field so far. Everyone seems to be nice and just looking after the cars at the moment. Coming down into Eau Rouge for the second time. Are these cars flat up here? Yes, they are. That's quite impressive for such a small little car. And obviously the Pro Mazda, Tom, they use it as almost like an entry into the IndyCar series in America. And for those of you who don't know what it is, go and look it up. It's basically based around a 500-mile race in America where you just drive around in circles. Jos van der Ven
going around the outside there. Can he make it stick? Yes, he has. He's gone a little bit later on the brakes than Steven Kartner, so a great move from him there. The top 5 seem to be pulling away a little bit. We've got a bit of a train going on, but as I say, it is about settling into that groove.
The groove is definitely where you want to be. Jos van der Ven has clearly got that, and obviously everyone else at the moment in the top 5 looking like they're looking at. Here we go, replay on your screens now. Jos van der Ven capitalising the draft, just going to move to the inside, coming down into Le Combe, and look at that on the brakes. He just got it. Actually, he got it done before he even needed to be on the brakes. You can see the backfire coming out of these cars as well as they change down the gears. Looks awesome. And Jos van der Ven, he is definitely going to want to be capitalising after what was a bit of a disappointing season for him. He lost it at the last race after Stephen Rochen made a surprise appearance to come and take the title with a storming win, and in fact he's up to 6th now and looking like he's wanting to move up towards the field. He's obviously a name to watch throughout this series, this season, sorry. And Jos van der Ven as well, he really needs to make an improvement, he's going for the championship.
Yeah, Stephen Rochen, he seems to be making a little bit of time up on the top 5. It'd be interesting. Jos van der Ven maybe pulling out a bit of a distance on Steven Kartner, but now obviously you're into the slipstream now, and these cars aren't massive power like the F1 stuff we see at Spa. So here we go.
Can he make the move? He's going to look outside. Is he going to be able to do it? No, he's not. Steven Kartner's going to just back out of that one. Good choice there by Steven. Let's see what he can do this time as we come down towards La Source, sorry, for the 3rd time, just crossing on the line. Let's have a look at who's got your fastest lap so far. I believe it's going to be the car of Jos van der Ven.
Oh, Bill Lawrence making a move there. You've got Stephen Rochen, he's managed to catch him. He's pretty much gone round the outside into the first corner there, and he's made it stick. So he's up into 5th now and doing well. Keep digging.
Stephen Rochen then showing why he deserved to be the champion last season, but are we going to see Bill Lawrence fight back? Here we are. He's going to sit in the draft coming out of Radillon. He's going to be gaining coming down the Kemmel straight. Let's see what he can do. Rochen inside, Lawrence outside. We're going to be on board with Bill Lawrence there for that number 17 Team Morgan car. They're going to go side by side. So close. You can get really close in these cars, and Rochen's just going to give up that place. Lawrence is back up into 5th. don't expect him to keep that position for long because we know Roshan's a hard charger. He's now got pressure from Richard Coulomb, from behind, and Remigo de Pasqua. Manningen is a little bit too far behind to challenge for that. So according to my timing screens, we've got a 9-car train for the lead. Not many series you see that.
No, you don't see that in many series, and of course, even when we're competing in other series, it's quite common for you to get big packs coming through. But it's quite interesting to see Bill Lawrence there defending that 5th place. So Stephen Roshan now seems to be falling a little bit behind him, but can he see, you know, when we get to the Camel Straight again and through Eau Rouge and things, if he can get in that slipstream?
Remigo de Pasqua going to be looking for a move coming into Fagnes for the 3rd time. He cannot make it stick. Trying to get around Richard Coulomb. Richard Coulomb defending like a trooper there from Remigo de Pasqua in the Team Italian Turtles car. And as we come through Paul Frere, the first part of Paul Frere, now through the second up towards Blanchimont, and at the moment it just looks like Jos van der Ven is going to be happy in the lead. No, he's not. Stephen Cartner's back in the lead. Where did that happen?
I completely missed it myself, to be fair, but he's coming at Jos van der Ven now, coming under pressure from Mark Robertson here as we come up towards the bus stop. Mark Robertson's looking up to the left. He's got a little bit of slipstream. Is he going to go out on the brakes? No, he doesn't. So Jos van der Ven keeps his position in second there. He's now catching Stephen Cartner. If he gets a good run, it might get him into the first corner.
Let's see, they're going to go side by side down into La Source. Obviously, we just saw Roshan going a little bit deep into the bus stop. Unsby, can he make the outside line stick? It's a bit of an unorthodox line through La Source, but can sometimes work. They're still going to be side by side. I think they're going to be side by side down into Eau Rouge. No, Unsby's made the pass into 3rd, and it just looks as though Mark Robertson, is just going to have to settle for 4th as they head down into Eau Rouge. Let's see what they can do. Well, obviously, Mark Robertson's going to have the draft coming down into Le Com, and look at the speed difference already. They're going to go side by side. That's early from Robertson. See if he can make the side draft move. By Faddle for the lead. Jos van der Ven, Stephen Cartney. Van der Ven has managed to close the gap back up for a couple of back markers ahead. Is he going to make a move? And side by side between Unsby and Robertson, it's all going on. Car off to the side. They're not sure who that was. Roshan is going to try and get involved with this. Unsby looks like he's back up into 3rd, and Bill Lawrence is now going to be challenging Robertson for 4th.
Yeah, you've got Richard Coulomb as well. He seems to be coming up, you know, making a few moves as well. That's brilliant to see there. You did 2 wide up the Camel Straight. Bit of a lock-up, I think, there from John Unsby as well as we were going into that corner there. So he's just about keeping a level head and keeping the power down. I think if we can, it's about getting good drives out of corners in these cars, because obviously you're a little bit lower on power, Jack, and you haven't got as much grunt as you'd have in, say, something like an F1 car or something with a big hybrid system.
Now, I'm going to go on a little bit of a nostalgia trip here, Tom, back to the first race we ever did of this series, as you're seeing the battle between John Morgan and Jay Frills on your screen for 2P1011. Got our eyes on that. I'm going to go on a bit of a nostalgia trip back to the first broadcast we did of this series, where I remember 4 wide into the boot at Watkins Glen. And it just shows how much of a drafting car this car is, and it's how much of a drafting circuit it is. There's actually John Unsby, I think, is just going to be dealing with a couple of back markers. Michael Gorlaski there in the orange car is just going to let them go. Here we go. Mark Robertson, he's going to try and go to the outside into Blanchimont. Nope, he's going to wait. No, he's going to look. He's going to wait. Is he going to go? It's a very tight move. He's going to run outside. Very lucky to keep it together on the curbs, because the smallest of bumps can unsettle these cars, and Robertson just going to back out of that one at the moment. Stephen Cotton still holding the lead. Looking back down your field, back towards this battle between P10 and 11. John Morgan is going to be holding it at the moment. Doesn't seem to look like Jake Fields has been able to. And actually, Jared Fleuriston as well is just going to have a go down the inside into the bus stop on Kenneth Baldwin. And Baldwin gets sideways. Baldwin spins out of the bus stop. You're just seeing that there live on your screens. Unlucky, he has got heavy damage to that car, and he has gone back to the pit lane. So that is an unfortunate incident there, just too early on the power. Looks like he may have got, yes he did, he got it unsettled on the big sausage dog curb that has been proved time and time again to be horrible for these cars.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's single seaters. They sit so low down, don't they? That's unfortunate for him, getting a little bit too early on the power. But
whoa, sorry, Tom. Jos van der Ven has just managed to get his way back into the lead before the braking zone. Mark Robinson and John Unsby as well are going to be side by side, and looks as though John Unsby's still going to keep it down into Le Com. He's going to go down to the inside, and he's actually going to manage to go around the outside. Robinson may have just given that up. Sorry, Tom. We'll go back to what you're saying now.
I've completely lost my train of thought now. But as I say, yeah, I've got it again. It's just about getting. If you're too early on the power in these cars, that's what's going to unsettle you. I mean, there's a lot of mechanical grip. There's probably not much in the way of downforce with the wings and things like that. So it's just about moderating your throttle pedal.
He does, and obviously these cars, we've seen people make mistakes so many times. We've seen them get loose, and I think Mid-Ohio showed that quite well, and that's quite a technical track. This is a very big drafting track here, so you're going to be running a slightly lower downforce. Everyone is actually running the same setup for this series. It's a fixed setup, so it's down to the skill of the driver as opposed to what you sometimes see with the driver being 2 seconds quicker because they have a good setup. And it just shows actually that this series is definitely more about the driver than it is the car, and they choose a pretty easy car to drive. It's not too complicated to set up, and I mean the driving skill that we're going to see, as you see on your screens, David Riley just trying to making it past the car of, I believe, Giles Gilly there. No, it wasn't. Give me a minute. I'll find out who it was for you. And
sorry, Jack. We've got Mark Robertson about to make the move on John Unsby here. He's about to put it too wide into the bus stop. He's looking up the inside. It's all about who's going to go late on the brakes here. He does. Mark Robertson sticks it up the inside. Oh, big lock up. He loses that position. So there's the standards are still third.
Sorry, Tom. That looks as though he's got too early on the power. He's just lost the rear end over the curb. He has gone around. He is moving again, but he has lost a lot of positions there for Mark Robertson. Unlucky for him. New fastest lap for Richard Coulomb, 2:17.055. But Mark Robertson there, he's dropped down to 9th as John Morgan and Jay Fields look like they're going at it again. And they've now got company from another car. That looks like a back marker. They're going to be looking like they're going to go side by side down into out of the source. Nothing going to happen there. Looking back towards the front of your field, everything looks a little bit calmer now. Mark Robertson's broken it all up a bit, and a couple of cars have lost the draft there. It looks as though, as you know, Stephen Roshan's going to be looking for a move on Bill Lawrence. They're going to go side by side down into Lecombe, and Stephen Roshan looks like he's just going to get it done. The draft is so strong in these cars and so strong at Spa. No, wait, sorry. He's just gone off, and too late on the brakes there for Stephen Roshan, and a little bit hard. The season 5 champion making a small mistake, and he's also falling down the order. Down into 7th. Looks as though Ramigo de Pascual might even... No, sorry, Manning Gridden might go for 8th now.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake for him. I don't know. I didn't see it myself. I don't know whether he went a bit too hard on the brakes. He was trying to make the move stick, ended up on the grass, and it just seems like he just went into a bit too hard, locked the front left, and that was history. So...
unfortunate incident there for Mark Robertson. Back towards the front of your field, Jos van der Ven looks like as he's lost the lead to Stephen Cartner. These two keep changing. They quite change before we can notice, Tom, and John Unsby looks like he wants to have a little bit of this. He's within draft range, only a second back from Stephen Cartner, and Unsby is quick, we know that, and he was only 2 tenths slower in quali, but Cartner was almost 8 tenths quicker than in practice, so he's probably going to be one to watch here. Bill Lawrence as well is a long way back now. He's lost the draft. Stephen Roshan, he's going to be battling with he's obviously had that mistake. He's a lot further back than what my timing screens are showing me. So at the moment, Jos van der Ven is going to be continuing to lead. He will not want Stephen Cartner to run away with this. In fact, he won't let him. He's caning coming down into the bus stop. They're going to try and go side by side, but I don't think he's close enough to do it. No, he's not. Little wiggle from Van der Ven into the bus stop. Here comes Unsby, closing the gap big time. Let's see if he can keep that gap as it is. Yes, he can. We've now got a 3-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, 3-way battle for the lead there. John Unsby, if he gets a good run, I believe, out of turn 1, then he'll do fantastic. Possibly even put it too wide into Eau Rouge, which I'd absolutely love to see. He's going quite late on the brakes there. A few little lock-ups from the guys. It just goes to show how hard they're actually pushing in these little cars. Stephen Cartner and Jos van der Ven, I mean, there's a fantastic battle waging at the front here. It's absolutely fantastic racing we've got here at Spa today.
Up on your screen at the moment is your top 15 in the standings. Biggest mover and shaker so far is that car in 15th. Michael Hilliard, the number 54. He is up 11 spots on where he started. Mark Robertson is your biggest loser. No, sorry, John Martin is your biggest loser.
Sorry, Jack, we've got Jos van der Ven. They're about to go 3 wide. He's got Stephen Cartner and John Unsby. Having a look up the inside. Is Stephen Cartner going to lose 2 places? No, he doesn't. So, Jos van der Ven now leads from Stephen Cartner and John Unsby. This is a brilliant 3-way battle at the front.
We always see good fighting between these guys, and we will always see it in the future, and John Unsby is showing why he deserves to be at the front. In fact, all 3 drivers are going to be showing why they're up at the front. Up on your screens now is the interval times. Stephen Cartner only 3 tenths back, John Unsby only 6 tenths back, 7 tenths back from your leader at the moment, and it just looks as though that gap is going to stay as it is. They're all within draft range, and they're all within equal distance of each other, and these guys always put up a good fight. Stephen Cartner and John Unsby, you can see the different lines they take there through Puan, and is that gaining and losing lap time? And it just looks as though Bill Lawrence has managed to lose the back of these guys. He's over a second back now.
Yeah, he's starting to fall off a little bit, isn't he? I think if he can gain a little bit of pace and try and take possibly a different line, he can try and get up to them again. But these three guys at the front seem to be walking away with it a little bit. Bill Lawrence gaining a little bit on John Unsby down the back straight here. But I do honestly believe that these three guys are going to end up running away with it.
They usually do, Tom, and as we look at this, Stephen Cartner as well is going to be trying to challenge Van der Ven. Is he going to go into Blanchimont? No, he's not. He's going to try into the bus stop. This brings John Unsby into the fray. They're going to try and go 2 wide, 3 wide. No, they're not. They're going to stay in single file. That's it. There we go. Stephen Cartner down on the inside of Jos Van der Ven. Has Van der Ven seen him? Yes, he has. He leaves him room. Van der Ven has the inside line, but so does Unsby. Unsby, he might get the run. Bill Lawrence all of a sudden is back into this battle. He's caught up in. He's going to try and get around the outside of Unsby into La Source.
Yeah, this is a brilliant fight here. Look at Bill Lawrence just having a cheeky look up the inside, goes late on the brakes. Will John Unsby give him room? Yes, he does. So that's John Unsby is now down in 4th. Bill Lawrence takes 3rd. They fight for position, getting battered in that dirty area is John Unsby at the moment behind Bill Lawrence. Let's see what he does into Eau Rouge. Can he get the run and the slipstream? Here we go, up the hill here. Looks to the left. Keeps pushing it out a little bit wide, and now we're just on for the long slipstream of the Kemmel Straight.
The Kemmel Straight is so long in these cars. Here we go. Stephen Cartner, Jos Van der Ven. They're going to go side by side. Look at the overspeed from Stephen Cartner. And look at it from Bill Lawrence. Can he do both of them? This would be an awesome move. No, he can't. He's going to move up into 2nd. But that's 2 positions in 5 corners there, Tom. And Van der Ven is lost out from there. He's gone from 1st to 3rd in all of this.
Yeah, it absolutely just goes to show, doesn't it, how much slipstreaming helps these cars. I mean, it's the same for John Unsby as well. He was in 3rd and now he's moved back to 4th. So it's really is jostling for position at the front between these 4 guys. I haven't seen racing in a series like this for a very long time, so it's absolutely brilliant to see.
Everyone's spaced out a little bit now as we come down into P1, and obviously we're going to be approaching your halfway stage in just a moment. We will run you through your top 10 as it stands at the end of this lap, and there's been a lot of shaking and moving here. Van der Ven as well. Is he under pressure from John Unsby? It may look like maybe moved down to 4th by the end of the lap. We do not know. We're concentrating quite a lot on your front field at the moment. Looking a little bit back further through your field. John Morgan, Jay Thrills, that battle's still going on. They're still with each other, although no positions have changed. And it looks as though Rolf Just and David Riley are close to each other on track, but at the moment, nothing happening between these guys. On your screen at the moment is battle for P6 between Brimigo de Pasco and Manning Grinnin. They're going to be looking to go side by side. Let's see what they can do. And yeah, they're going to go side by side up into Blanchimont. Just looks as though Brimigo de Pasco, he's going to be holding that inside line. Can Grinnin make the move stick? Let's have a look. Outside line through Blanchimont is definitely unorthodox. They're going to stay side by side down into the braking zones by the look of it. And here we go. Damn, who's going to be late on the brakes? No, they're going to be about the same on the brakes. And oh, so close to contact there between the number 4 and the number 47. And there was contact. They got loose, but they've all managed to hold it. It just looks like Brimigo de Pasco's managed to hold it. What's going on with Stephen Rostian, though? Looks as though, actually, Stephen Cartner is your first driver onto pit lane.
Yeah, also Bill Lawrence has taken the lead away from Jos Van der Ven, so there's a little bit of tactics coming into the play here now. You've obviously got the couple of the fast guys starting to pit. Stephen Rostian's in the pit, so can he get the undercut on the other guys and get himself a little bit more points towards the end of the race? As you look at Jos Van der Ven, goes wide out of Eau Rouge. They're 2 wide now going up the Kemmel Straight. Bill Lawrence he's falling back, and then you've got John Unsby coming up as well, so he could lose 2 places by the end of this straight.
He does. John Unsby, look at that. Straight through the middle. What a move by Unsby. And he's going to go side by side through Van der Ven into Lecombe. The lead is changing so much I can't keep up with my brain who's in the lead. And look at that, John Unsby. 1 corner, 3 positions. Yeah,
that's absolutely fantastic racing. That just echoes hacking on Michael when he went past the back marker, just straight through the middle. But Jos Van der Ven makes a little mistake there coming out of that corner. So then you've got Bill Lawrence is right on his tail now. He's going to be looking for the slipstream, trying to get out that dirty air. So he moves to the left a little bit as he comes down the hill. And I've got to say, John Unsby seems to be pulling away a little bit with this now.
Stephen Cartner is back out off of pit lane. He's made an 8.7 second stop. Don't know how good that is. We're going to wait to see until everyone comes down onto pit lane. But at the moment, Bill Lawrence has managed to go from 1st to 3rd. Unsby has gone from 3rd to 1st. Van der Ven's just sat there in the middle going, I'm just going to stick in 2nd. Why not? Let's see if any of these guys come down onto the pit lane this time. I would think tactics would say yes. They want to match what Stephen Cartner's been doing because he's come out in 8th position. And let's just have a look. Are they going to be challenging each other coming down into Blanchimont this time? No, they are not. So Everyone just seems to be... Actually, no, I eat my words. Jos van der Ven, he's going to be looking at John Unsby, but here comes Bill Lawrence, in fact. Oh, it's all happening again, Tom. We're not going to see the same three-wide move that we saw, but here we go. Are they going to go side by side down into the bus stop? No, they're not. Do any of these drivers dart off into the pit lane? No, they don't. They all stay out for another lap. Richard Coulomb has now joined this. We've now got a four-way battle for the lead. Ramigo de Pasqua isn't far back either.
Yeah, you've got to take into account as well, Stephen Cartner's got a lot of clean air now. He's got quite an empty track to start making up those times. From whatever he did in the pit stops, whether he's taken tyres or fuel, then he can obviously get the undercut. I'm quite surprised there that the three front runners didn't actually pit on that time round.
I am very surprised at that as well. I maybe think that Stephen Cartner might have gone for a shorter fuel stint, gone for a little bit of a lighter car, and let's just see if anything happens coming down. Here we go, Van der Ven. Whoa, he's nearly on the grass there. Do they make a touch? John Unsby actually having to move out of the way, but here comes Bill Lawrence. He's going to defend. No contact between those two, but Bill Lawrence has to back out of that one there. And Jos van der Ven is going to regain the lead. Unsby's going to be down to second, but that was very close to disaster between Unsby and Lawrence there.
Yeah, I was watching that, and I had my heart in my mouth. I literally thought it was about to run into the back of him. This is a fantastic three-way battle that we've got here at Spa. These guys are really pushing hard. If they don't pit this lap, I'll be extremely surprised, to be fair, because obviously now you've got Stephen Cartner, who's going to get the undercut, to be fair.
Is he going to? Yes, he might. Well, obviously, we've just got to wait and have a look at lap times. These guys have still got the draft. And in fact, oh, actually, no, Tom. Cartner's down to 13th. No, sorry, that's just everything updating after the pit stop. So I'm just having a bit of one of my moments there. And Richard Coulomb at the moment is just waiting in the clutches to see if anything happens. At the moment, he's just letting this top three battle it out. Will any of these guys come down onto pit lane? They have to. They only have 7 laps left. They're over halfway in this race, and once the pit stops have all finished, we will run you through your top 10. I was going to do it, but everything then happened. It also looks as though Jay Fields has dropped back a little bit from John Morgan. No, yes, he has, but he's been left in the clutches of Gerard Florissen. So we have another battle brewing here. They're all within a second of each other, so we've now got a three-way battle.
Here we go, Jack. Sorry to cut you off. So we've got John Unsby's looking up the left. He's got the slipstream. He's gone really late on the brakes. If he can make that stick, that's a fantastic move there. He doesn't pit again. So Jos van der Ven hasn't pitted, John Unsby hasn't pitted, and neither is Bill Lawrence. So these guys are going on a really long stint on these tyres at the moment.
It's not tyres they need to be worried about, Tom. It's the fuel. I don't know whether they're limited on fuel. No, they're not. So, but I have a feeling that one stop, you have to make a pit stop. It's mandatory in certain races. This is one of those races. We have a four-way drafting battle down into Eau Rouge this time. I'm going to be riding on board with Richard Coulomb. That probably is going to be a good way to watch this as we come up Eau Rouge. Flat out in these Pro Mazda cars. Let's see what happens between these guys now as we go. Here we go. Bill Lawrence going for a move. He's going to go round the outside of Jos van der Ven. He's also going to go round the outside of John Unsby. Jos van der Ven is going to be jumping into the draft there. Has he got the overspeed? Look at that. Bill Lawrence, who's just going to sit in the middle of the road to block them. And Van der Ven and Unsby go side by side. Unsby's just lost 3 places. No, he hasn't. He's going to try again. Coming down into Maldo. A touch. And Unsby is round. There we go. That's what we were waiting for between these guys. And let's have a look. Unsby looked as though he's got a lot of damage on that car. He must come in and pit and damage or get repairs on that car this time. Bill Lawrence now has walked away with it. Another question is, has Jos van der Ven got any damage? No, he hasn't. He's got away on that clean.
Yeah, I think there'll be a big smile in the helmet of Bill Lawrence there, seeing that through his rearview mirror. To be honest, we knew it was going to end in tears at some point. These guys changing places so much. It's upsetting to see when that happens, especially for John Unsby. He was running so well, but you know, now he can get into the pits on this lap, do what he needs to do, and then get back out and try and make up some places.
Exactly, and let's see what they can do. Obviously, Bill Lawrence at the moment is going to be ahead. Quick update on Stephen Cartner. He's sort of played out of this a little bit. He's currently 33 seconds on pit lane. He's 28 seconds behind the leaders. So, yeah, at the moment, he's got a 5-second advantage.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where he does come out once everyone starts making their full pit stops. I'll be very surprised if the front runners don't come in this lap again, because it's now getting a bit late in the day. So that, you know, it's well. Here we go then. Let's see if they go in. So Bill Lawrence does pit. Jos van der Ven does not pit. He's still not pitted that car. But as I say, Bill Lawrence is in, and Richard Kloom has also stayed out. So it's just a bit of a two-way fight now we've got between Jos van der Ven and Richard Kloom.
Unsby stays out as well, even with this damaged car. So, and just a quick update, Stephen Cartnett is back to 19 seconds behind your leader now. So he is going to be, here we go. We're going to watch Bill Lawrence's pit stop. He's going to come to a stop. Is he going to go up on the jacks? No, he is not. So it's just going to be a fuel-only stop from Bill Lawrence. Let's have a look at the pit stop time. It's going to be 8.8 seconds. It was 0.2 of a second slower than Stephen Cartnett, and Cartnett is out and away. He's already through the source. Oh, that was close to all from Bill Lawrence there. Very close to faster for his steering. Jos van der Ven continues to lead the race. He's got a bit of an advantage now. No, he hasn't actually. Richard Kloom has closed that up, and I don't think you'll see Kloom actually fighting for that lead. I think he's just going to play it safe and take the points.
Yeah, I don't blame him as well. I mean, if he goes to get a win out of it, that's fine. But obviously, he has still got to pit. But Stephen Cartnett, he'll be smiling in that car, I can tell you, because he knows that his tactics seem to have paid off, because he's making up pace now. And of course, these front runners still have got to put their cars into the pit lane. So it's interesting how this is going to play out in the end.
Jay Friels and Jared Florestan going hard at it now on your screens. 3/10 gap between them as they come through Rivage, and now no name corner. Florestan looked like he got a little bit loose out of there, running down into Pouon, just throwing up a little bit of dust. And in fact, actually, it looks as though Jay Friels has got past on this lap, so he has just got past the car of Jared Florestan. That puts Friels up into 7th, with obviously all the pit stops going on. Only five laps left after this lap, so everyone's got to be close to pitting now. I think everyone's going to be actually getting extremely close to running out of fuel and needing to come down onto the lane. Jos van der Ven is going to be one of them. He's going to be coming up through Blanchimont now, and let's see if he enters down onto the pit lane. It's obviously just a waiting game now for us. Nothing else really going on in the circuit at the moment. John Unsby, Stephen Roastion's going to try and go for a pass on John Unsby. Unsby's damage is really hurting him now. Let's see what they do. They're going to be side by side down into the bus stop, and John Unsby there is going to be keeping it, and it just looks as though Stephen Roastion put on a little bit too much of a battle. Van der Ven stays out. Coulomb stays out. Remigo de Pasqua now up into 3rd. Tom, are some of these guys trying to do it on no stops?
Yeah, it does seem that way, doesn't it? Either that or these guys are trying to just really extend the car out. I mean, as you say, pit stops are mandatory, but this is very late in the day for these guys to be thinking about pit stops now. I'm really interested to see how this does play out. John Unsby, however, he's doing really well, to be fair. I mean, he made that pit stop. He had a bit of trouble and things like that, but now he's starting to gain time again. So, as I say that, Stephen Roastion starts to go around the outside. We might have a 3-wide battle here with Mark Robertson as well, which they do. So they are 3-wide going at the Kemmel Straight. Stephen Roastion makes it stick, and then we've got John Unsby goes a little bit late on the brakes, but you've got Stephen Roastion, little bit of a lock up there, puts it wide. So these guys are still fighting through this corner now, still fighting, and it's sort of settled its way out now. So Stephen Roastion takes 4th place with Mark Robertson down in 6th, and then you've got John Unsby in 5th.
John Unsby as well, he's putting on a sterling job here to defend. He's got an extremely damaged car. You can see the damage on his front wing. That's not going to help his aero. Here comes Mark Robertson in the 43, going to move down to the inside into Pouon. And no, Unsby's going to fight him. I wouldn't with that amount of damage on my car. And Mark just looks like he's got the better line. He's got the better aero, but actually he can't get past. Unsby's really putting up a good fight. This is actually letting Stephen Roastion just walk away with this now.
Yeah, he's starting to make a lot of distance, isn't he? I mean, it's great to see that Mark Robertson's trying to make that move stick, but my man of the match, so to speak, has got to be John Unsby. He's got a damaged car there. He's going to be down on aero, and we don't know what the extent of the damage is. And he's still putting the fight to Mark Robertson right now as they start to go up this straight here. So here we go. Mark Robertson, as he starts to come up, he's in that slipstream. He's out the dirty air now, looking to the right as they come towards the next corner now. Pushing hard, it's a side-by-side battle. Mark Robertson nearly on the grass, pushes him out wide, bit of a squeeze, so they're still fighting. Let's see what they can do into the bus stop, and I think Mark Robertson's made that stick, to be fair. Yes, he has. So all a little bit big lock up there, but no, Mark Robertson's made that stick now. So that's Mark Robertson up into 5th place, and unfortunately for John Unsby, he's now down into 6th.
None of your leaders came down into the pit lane this time, just 4 laps remaining. I think there might be a misunderstanding with the drivers here. I'm pretty sure if they haven't pitted with 4 laps to go, I don't think they're going to be pitting at all. There's a lot of drivers, though, actually come down onto the pit lane, but they came down sort of 2-3 laps ago. I don't know what's going on with these drivers. In fact, actually, if they aren't limited on fuel. Oh, actually, as we see Jared Fleurisson in the wall, what happened there? Let's go and have a look. I'm looking at the wrong driver, and it just looks as though he probably got loose coming through the bus stop. Was it the big sausage dog curve? No, it wasn't. It was too early on the power and into the wall, and that's Jared Fleurisson's race 1 over. Obviously, don't forget, race 2 coming up your way is going to be just after the first race here today. As you see the battle between Stephen Roche, John Unsby and Mark Robinson back on your screen. And John Unsby is defending like a trooper from Mark Robinson here. It looks as though he's actually got past Mark, and he's going to be defending to keep that 6th or 5th position now.
Yeah, this is the most exciting battle on track at the moment. The leaders seem to be pulling away quite a bit. Not a lot of people will be able to get near them now, obviously. If they haven't heard that they've got a pit, then that will come into play. But Mark Robertson, he's starting to look at John Unsby's fighting well there. He's got a car that's not very well at the moment. He's having a little look around the outside, is Mark Robertson. So I'm interested to see what he can do here to see if he can make that position stick.
Race 2 coming your way in just over half an hour's time. We will have a short interlude in the middle. You can all go and make yourself a cup of tea and get some food. And at the moment, we're going to be looking back towards the front of your field. Jos van der Ven has now got a 1.6 second lead, but Mark Robertson, actually, we're going to be riding on board with him. Or no, we're not. We're going back to Jos van der Ven, and as you just see, he's now got a 1.6 second lead as we come up to Blanchimont this time, and let's see what they can do. And actually, will they pit this time? We're getting very close to the end of the race now, and they've got to pit at some point because they know full well that there is a mandatory pit stop. Let's have a look. Jos van der Ven is going to be staying left. Yes, he is. He's going to be staying left and staying out. Richard Coulam's doing the same. Remigo de Pasqua's doing the same. Stephen Roesgen is doing the same, along with... No, he's not. Roesgen's down onto the pit lane. So the first of your front runners to pit, along with Mark Robertson, and they ran a very long stint there. They're going for a last 3-lap final dash, qualifying there, Tom.
Yeah, they are. It's a bit late in the day to be pitting, but obviously these guys must know something we don't, and so do their teams. What I'm looking at though is Stephen Kartner, because he made that early pit stop. He's now starting to come up into the fray of Jay Friels and Bill Lawrence and Mark Robertson. And if he catches John Unsby, and then if Van der Ven does pit as well, he could be fighting for the lead here in the very closing stages of this race.
It's not all over yet. 3 laps still to go. 21 kilometres. That's quite a long way in these little cars, but it won't take any more than 7 minutes. Jos van der Ven is going to be... No, he's not. Richard Coulam. No, that's a back marker. I'm getting confused with teams. So Jos van der Ven is still leading. He's got quite a nice lead now over Richard Coulam. Coulam's just going to be settling in second. So let's just have a... Obviously, the order is just reshuffling. Stephen Kartner has managed to get his way past Bill Lawrence, who I believe is now back out onto the circuit. And in fact, they're going to be battling going down into the Lecombe this time. But no, it just looks as like Bill Lawrence is going to be staying.
Yeah, he's just settling in now, isn't he? I think his work's done for race 1 pretty much. I mean, it's not over yet, but he's just settling in now. He can get in the slipstream with Stephen Kartner, and he can give him a little bit of a boost for the final few laps. So this is playing out really well, actually. It's playing out really well into Stephen Kartner's favour. So he's going to get some good, decent points here at Spa for race 1.
Obviously, it's going to be the best point score out of the 2 races that you score points for. So that just makes the championship a little bit more interesting. It used to be the top 3 couldn't race in race 2 and you scored points for both races. They've changed it just to be your best point score. And that just, it makes the championship so much more exciting because you don't have to do it over 2 races. You have to get it right both times, and if you make a mistake, you have another chance. So it plays it back into the driver's hand a little bit. Stephen Kartner's also managed to get past Bill Lawrence. Yeah, we've covered that one. And Van der Ven, is he going to pit this time? Yes, he is. Van der Ven's down onto the pit lane. Richard Coulam is going to follow him. Is Remigo de Pasqua going to do the same? They're pitting late. 2 laps to go here, Tom. They're going to have an extremely short pit stop. This could really play into their hands now.
Yeah, this is going to be a fantastic final 2 laps, isn't it? I'm really, really excited to see how this plays out. So Van der Ven pulls into the pits. Here he comes now, coming along pit lane. He'll be looking out for Stephen Kartner, although I don't know whether he's actually... Stephen Kartner is starting to come up the straight now. So here we go. So Jos van der Ven is in the pits. Let's see what he can do as Stephen Kartner, there he goes. So he's just gone past Jos van der Ven into the pit lane as well as Bill Lawrence. So Van der Ven is now down. This could really play out in Stephen Kartner's hands, you know, Jack. It's not over yet.
Stephen Cartner has managed to get back into the lead, and Bill Lawrence is behind him. Strategy playing off once again. This is going to be a good battle for the lead, and he has a humongous gap over Jos van der Ven. 4.5 seconds now. We're going to be looking at this. Bill Lawrence riding on board with him. Let's go for a bit of RaceSpot fan immersion down the Kemmel Straight. Look at that, round the outside, using the draft to his advantage, and looking back now from Bill Lawrence's car, he's going to be in the lead. Stephen Cartner won't let him get away with it. Just a lap and a half remaining. Let's see what these guys can do. Probably quite a lot. Look at that. Stephen Cartner's really going to be challenging now. You can see just how close he's getting. You can see the flames coming out of the exhaust of these cars, and as we just go down through No Name Corner, down towards Pouhon for the second to last time. Everyone else, we're going to be just going to quickly run you through your top 10 as it stands with one more lap to go. Bill Lawrence is currently leading with Stephen Cartner in second. Jos van der Ven is going to be third with Richard Coulomb in fourth. Remigo de Pasqua is going to be fifth with John Unsby in sixth and Mark Robson in seventh. Stephen Rochian is going to be eighth, Manningren is ninth, and Jay Frills is going to be running out your top 10. Obviously, we've just got one more lap to go, and that little bit extra that we're going to see the rest of this lap. This has been an exciting race so far. 45-minute time limit, we're not going to get anywhere near that in this race, and Bill Lawrence continues to lead.
Yeah, as well, fair play to John Unsby. As we saw before, he's got a little bit of damage as well. I mean, you've got Stefan Rosden as well, and Margaret Robertson are actually starting to catch him now. So there's a great battle between those three guys going on at the moment as they start to come down towards the start their last lap. So here we go then. It's all going to play out now. Let's see what these guys can do. Can Stephen Cartner take it? Can Bill Lawrence take it? I'm really excited for this. This is going to be fantastic.
This is going to be an immense last lap from these guys. We are on the edge of our seats in the broadcast booth, and I'm pretty sure you're on the edge of the seats at home. Thank you for tuning in to round one of the 60-plus racing adventures here at Spa-Francorchamps. Don't forget, another race coming your way just after this. On to the final lap. Bill Lawrence is going to be leading. Stephen Cartner is going to be challenging as they head down towards Eau Rouge. Nothing going to happen so far. Cartner's going to want to close that gap. Currently around half a second, 4/10 of a second. No, sorry, 3/10 of a second. He is gaining hard and up through Eau Rouge. Flat for the final time. Let's see what he can do. This is going to be his last chance. Up towards, they're going to go side by side now. Let's have a look. Stephen Cartner, he's going to go around the outside. He's going to do what Bill Lawrence did to him on the last lap. Taste of your own medicine there for Bill Lawrence, and Stephen Cartner's back into the lead, coming down into Le Combe. Bill Lawrence, though, he's not going to give that up with that fight.
No, he's not. He won't be a happy bunny about that, will he? After Stephen Cartner got caught into his slipstream there. So here we go then, as they come down to the next corner now. Bill Lawrence, he's got to now start getting a little bit later on the brakes and start getting really good runs out of these corners, because if he doesn't, obviously Stephen Cartner's going to run away with it.
Stephen Cartner has got the biggest opportunity to run away with it. He could take the first race or win of the series, and coming down into the Pouhon for the final time. They're still going to be running line astern, but look at this. Bill Lawrence is so much closer to the back of the car. Different lines there showing, and Cartner running a much wider line now, and we're going to be riding on board with Bill Lawrence coming up to Fania for the final time. Let's see what he can do. He might be close enough to make a challenge down into the bus stop chicane. We will wait and see.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to the bus stop, isn't it? Bill Lawrence is just going to go tuck in behind his slipstream, although he's falling back a little bit there, so he just needs to, keep his cool a little bit. So here we go then, coming up towards the bus stop. What do you reckon, Jack? Who's going to take it?
I think Bill Lawrence might. Here he goes. He's going to look to the outside now. Sorry, to the inside. He's changing direction so fast. Let's have a look. And Bill Lawrence looks like he's taking the lead. Cartner's got to shove it down the inside, coming down into the bus stop. Here we go. Bill Lawrence first, Stephen Cartner second. This probably will change another 3 times knowing this series. And around to the checker flag. Cartner around the outside. They're going to go side by side through the bus stop. Who's going to take it? Cartner's got the inside line. Lawrence is going to let him have it. Stephen Cartner takes the win for race 1 here at Spa. Bill Lawrence, wow, that was intense at the end, going to be taking second. Van der Ven is going to be exiting the bus stop, taking third and rounding out your podium.
Fair play. That was absolutely fantastic. It was nice to see Bill Lawrence give Stephen Cartner a little bit of room there and pretty much give him the win. So brilliant racing there. Absolutely enjoyed it. Obviously my first time on Race Spot and commentating this race. Really enjoyed it. I hope you guys at home enjoyed it as well.
Don't forget, another race coming your way. We'll be taking you down to the results as everyone comes across the line. Now, go quick replay up your screen of that move for the lead. Stephen Cartner, what a ballsy move down into the bus stop. How did he manage to stick that without hitting him? I do not know, but that was an awesome race to see there. Strategy with the pit stops as well, playing into the hands of Stephen Cartner, doing very well. He is going to be joining us for an interview right after we take you through your finishing grid. Stephen Cartner is going to take the win for race 1 here at Spa-Francorchamps. He won by 0.3 of a second over Bill Lawrence in the number 17 machine. Jos van der Ven, unlucky with his strategy, is going to be 3rd, and Ramiro Praska in 4th. John Unsby is going to finish 6th, Mark Robertson in 6th, Stephen Roshan in 7th, Manningren in 8th, Jay Fields in 9th, and Bruce Paul in 10th.
Yeah, John Morgan down in 11th, Andrew Fiddler behind him in 12th. Ralph Kemmerer in the 73 machine finishes up 13th, Rolf Just in 14th. Gerard Florison in 15th with Gianni Raspaldo in 16th. Richard Kaloum fell off a little bit there at the end, so he's down in 17th. Jose Carlos Campodonico finished 18th with David Riley down in 20th.
21st is going to go to Joel Martin, who's quickly crossing the line, and Michael Golaski in 22nd. Charles Gilly is going to be 23rd, and Michael Hillard is going to be 24th. Michael Knapp is going to finish 26th. Kenneth Baldwin 26th. Mark Lyson 27th. John Hill and John Fletcher didn't even make it to the start. Well, we're going to be joined by our race winner now, Stephen Roshan, and he is going to be with Tom Jacobs.
Yes, Stephen. A great race from you there. How do you feel? How was the car? What was it like batting with Mark Robertson? I see you pitted quite late.
Well, thanks, Tom. It was a great race. Everybody did a really great job out there. I pitted a little early because it's such a drafting track, and I was being just followed around the track and passed every lap. So I thought I would switch it up a bit.
Yeah, what did you think to the guys up the front pitting so late? Me and Jack were saying in the commentary box up here at Spa, we were just saying Jos van der Ven pitted with 2 laps to go. Is there any reason you think behind that, or?
I don't know. Unless he was in clear air and not having much trouble with lap traffic, he probably waited till the end. I just found it a little bit easier to get out of the train and run my own laps.
Yeah, that's brilliant job from you there. Fantastic racing from everybody. Are you looking forward to race 2?
Looking forward to it, Tom. Things are going to be just as tight as this one, and lots of fun.
Fantastic work. Great job out there, and we'll see you for race 2. Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for starting up with RaceSpot again this season.
Thank you.
No worries. We're now going to be joined by Bill Lawrence, who finished 2nd, and hang on, let me just pull him in. Bill, we saw a very close battle there between you and Stephen, and just bear in mind he's in here as well. How did that seem from your view? Obviously, last minute lunge into the bus stop.
Yeah, from my point of view, I thought I had him there, and I told him on the air, I said, great pass, because we had to keep our distance from one another. We trust one another, but I thought I had it, but he was really tough on the line he had, so it was good.
And obviously, we saw you have a little different strategy to everyone else. Everyone else seemed to pit really late, and I think everyone's going to look at you guys and go, actually, I think you guys had the better strategy. What made you think to pit earlier on in the race, and did you think it would be an advantage?
Are you talking to me? It's Bill?
Yes, I am. Oh no, did you pit late?
Yeah, I pitted a little later. I saw Steve go in. We were having a little battle there, and he went in early, and so I was curious as to what kind of traffic he might come out into, where he might be. So I pitted later, but fortunately for me, I come out right behind him.
And before we let you go down to race 2, anyone you want to thank?
Well, as usual, the league. It's great to be back here for season 6, and for our administrators and everyone who pitches in and just shows up. We're having a lot of fun here. Great time, and you guys as well. Thanks for covering this.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Lawrence, your second place finisher, and we're going to be joined by Jos van der Ven, who finished third, and he is standing by with Tom Jacobs.
Yeah, so Jos, great race from you there. Unfortunate little tackle with John Unsby. How come you pitted so late though? We were up here in the commentary box just wondering, you've got 2 laps to go and then you chuck it in the pit lane.
Yeah, I was wondering also that I didn't practice all week until this session started, so I didn't have a strategy. But now I see that Steve and Bill pitted very early, so yeah, I think there was something wrong with my strategy.
Yeah, but still, well done to you for making third place. Will you go for an earlier pit stop in race 2?
I guess I have to have a chance on the first place. So I think so. Yes.
Well, we hope you can have a really good race in race 2 from where you start on the grid. Before we go, is there anyone you want to thank?
Well, of course, I want to thank the organizers of the 60 Plus League for this new season, and of course all other racers who are in this session. And I want to congratulate Steve and Bill with their first and second place.
Jos van der Ven there, thanks very much there, and we look forward to seeing what you do in race 2.
Thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
So Tom, before we head down to our quick break, any final thoughts from you on that race?
I thought that was absolutely fantastic. I don't know about anyone else and the people watching at home, but that was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? Bill Lawrence and Stephen Karkner. I mean, Stephen Karkner pitted early and we were all like, really? And then it seemed to pay off for him in the end. So what's your thoughts, Jack?
I thought it was an absolutely fantastic race, and we've got one more person joining us for an interview, Joel Martin, who is the admin for the league, and he is going to be joining us now. Joel, have you got us?
Yes, I do.
Obviously, we didn't see much of you. We were concentrating on the front field. They were having a good old scrap at the front. How was your race for you guys?
Not terribly well. I was doing okay. I qualified, I think, at 13th or something like that. And I made a mistake and I got slowed down in the first series of corners after the long straight and decided to drop it to third gear when I shouldn't have, and spun the car.
And obviously going forward into race 2, anything that you're going to do slightly differently?
Not downshifting that corner for sure.
Fair enough. And oh, go on.
My goal basically, the way this has progressed, I'm at a certain level, and I just try to get in the top 10.
And obviously, anyone you want to thank before we let you go and get ready for race 2?
I need to thank Mark Lyson and John Morgan and Richard, these guys do an awful lot of work for the league. There's just so many people that have a good input that it's hard to thank everybody.
Joel Martin there, who was your... I can't remember whereabouts you finished, Joel. I think you finished a little bit further down the field than where we were looking, and obviously he finished down in 19th, so looking back, he's going to be looking to go a little bit higher towards race number 2. We will be back in just over 10 minutes for the second race of the 60 Plus Racing Adventures from Spa-Francorchamps. I have been Jack Stars. Myself and Tom are going to go and reflect on that race while Hugo reverses the production truck out of Spa, turns it around and comes back in again ready for race 2. So we will see you in a little bit.
Kyle Kimball. I am the Manager of Operations in the Motorsports Department for Mazda North American Operations. We are at Bondurant Racing School here in Phoenix, Arizona, and we are putting on the Mazda Road to 24 shootout. We started with 14 qualifiers that submitted business plans to us, and from those 14, we narrowed it down to 4. Those qualifiers were Celine Roland, Tyler Casera, John Allen, and Preston Pardis.
me, the first session was just the memorization piece of the track. I probably was halfway through the session before I felt like there were 2 or 3 places I could push. Now I knew what was next. I already see some differences in preference of how people approach certain turns, or certainly the braking into the first chicane is a little bumpy. So there's a lot to learn, but that's part of the fun.
So as a judge, what we're looking for from these drivers is the opportunity that they take the information that we give them. They can then make themselves a better driver on the racetrack, and then we get to see that instantaneously the next session when we go out there. So we can see whether they can listen to us and comprehend what we're saying, put it into practice, and then see the results.
I'm Jonathan Bomarito. I race the Mazda factory RT24P prototype for Mazda in the IMSA series. We've had 4 really impressive guys here today, all going for a $100,000 scholarship to run in the MX5 Cup series next year.
I'm Preston Pardis. I'm from New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Actually, I've had iRacing since 2010, so I'm a 5-star gold member on the forums. Nothing like hopping on, with a few buddies and do a few sessions, but it's great when you're learning a track. There's nothing like physically driving a racetrack. You can look at video data, but nothing does justice to where you want to really place your car, and it really transfers really well. I think you need to do it nowadays.
Hi, I'm Tyler Casera. I'm an at-large nominee here at the Shootout, Spec Miata racer, and won a couple championships in SCCA and NASA. iRacing is, I think, a huge tool, great tool for me to prepare for race weekends and just hone my craft and stay sharp when I'm not actually at the track.
Hey, my name is Salim Rayan, 9th year Mazda racer. I currently race Spec Miata. Honestly, the first thing I thought of when I got in this car was how similar it is to iRacing.
Took us one final session, but we do have a winner of the $100,000 value scholarship into the 2018 Mazda MX-5 Cup, and that winner is Salim Rayan. Congratulations.
It's incredible knowing that now I'm a Mazda factory driver. I work for Mazda, Classic Mazda in Orlando, Florida, and now I'm a Mazda factory driver. It's kind of my life now, even more than it was before. Just a professional race car driver. That's what everyone's dream is, and my dream has become a reality.
One driver of note, John Allen, came here today mainly with an iRacing background, and it was pretty impressive, actually, I must say, how he started off. That he drove 3 sessions. Every session, solid improvement. Lap times were coming down. I was very impressed, actually, with his approach, and a lot of that comes through the iRacing, and you really see how beneficial that is for these drivers trying to come up through the ladder.
I've just started to watch my son get involved in iRacing, and it wasn't available when I was around, so I'm really captive now about how it can increase the ability for a driver to come to a racetrack and know the racetrack and really have a good feel of what to expect, and we're seeing that with all the iRacing competitors that we've had come through the program so far. And this year with John Allen, and I've already said this to him, remarkably impressed with how well he has done.
So through our partnership with iRacing, John Allen beat 17,000 other online racers to make it here today, which in and of itself is an incredible accomplishment. He showed today that he absolutely deserved to be with the 3 other drivers on track. He showed consistency and learning every single time he was on the track. He was in 3 sessions, and each session he got faster, sometimes by a half a second. The progression that he showed throughout the day was absolutely tremendous.
I'm pleased with my performance. I'm pleased with the feedback I got, the opportunity to get the level of coaching that we did. My goal right now is to make it back here next year, through the real world competition, and just make it back as an at-large bid. I know a little more about the process. It leaves me better prepared to come back and attack. No doubt, the list is long of people to thank. My wife and our dog, and they were just fun road trips. We even snuck a family reunion in between 2 of the events this year, and to that end, my family, supporting me in this. they don't need to understand it. They just know I love it, and that's enough for them to support me and push me further. Clearly, the practice I received over the last few years using iRacing is very applicable. To come out here and do a serviceable job, even a highly competitive job, is almost entirely due to that. So I intend to still be a regular on there and continue honing my skills and find some more tracks to translate that to next year.
Once again, photo finish here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMerick at the line.
Race 1 gave us strategy and heartbreak and turmoil and success. Race 2 I expect to be exactly the same. Welcome back to the 60 Plus Racing Adventures from Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, deep in the Ardennes Forest in Belgium near Liège. Jack Stiles alongside Tom Jacobs. Hugo Luis is running the cameras for you today, and this is a RaceSpotTV production of the 60 Plus Racing Adventures on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. We are currently a minute and a half into qualifying. Everyone's going to be doing their first laps, and at the moment we're just going to be waiting for the first times to come in. I'm going to try and have a look for a driver who I think we could go for a lap on board with here, and I'm going to say actually let's go for Manning Grinnin. He's currently coming out of Fania, and I expect him to have another lap here, so as soon as we come round for another lap, we'll have a lap on board of Spa with Tom Jacobs. But first of all, Tom, what's your views coming into race 2?
Race 1, as we know, was extremely exciting, so it's going to be good to see what we get from race 2. The front three runners, so you've got Van der Ven's, likes of Mark Robertson, Stephen Karkner, and all those sort of guys, Bill Lawrence as well. I'm hoping that those guys will be fighting for the lead again, but hopefully a couple of the back markers can come through as well.
Right then, Tom, would you like to take us for a lap around Spa-Francorchamps in one of these Pro Masters cars on board with Manning Grinnin?
I would, however, I'm not very good with corners. So here we go, coming along the start-finish straight into the first corner then. You want to be looking over to the left a little bit, looking for your braking marker, down through the gears now, tipping it in. Just keep close to the curb there, a little bit wide there by Manning Grinnin, and then down towards Eau Rouge now. What a fantastic bit of circuit. Don't look left, don't look right, just keep your head down, look straight ahead and into Eau Rouge. So tip it into the left, over the hill, don't lift, whatever you do, and just clip the curb on the inside and then to the outside as well, and then you've got the long Kemmel straight now. So all you do is just keep your foot absolutely planted through here. If you're racing, you want to try and get into the slipstream, and then you just wait and look to your left, look for your braking point now. So a little bit of curb, tip the car in. It might unsettle it a little bit, so you don't want to take too much, and then you want to go really wide out to the left for this next one. Clip the curb again. Try and watch the AstroTurf on the left as you come down, and you brake pretty much where the curb starts there. A little bit wide from Grinnan now, but it'll be looking towards coming up to the next corner, pushing it out wide as we said before, and then coming across to the left again, and now hard on the gas again. You don't want to upset the car as you come into that corner there. Under the Vodafone bridge there, and then tip it into the left. All you need to do really here is lift, possibly a little tap of brake just to bring the front nose in. And then down to the straight again, flat out. This track is so fast. And then as you come across, a little bit of curb on the left, tip it in, keep looking around, not too much power. You don't want the rear end to step out too much, and you want to get a really, really nice run. And then as we go in, hard on the brakes now, and then just tip the car in, look over to the left, and then it's literally just flat out now, pretty much all the way up down to the bus stop. You don't want to lift at all. So as drivers say all the time in F1, a long straight is possibly the most boring bit of the track because you're just keeping it pinned. You know, you're absolutely flat out at this point. The trees are rushing past you left and right. As you tip it in now, to try not to run it too wide because that curb there will really unsettle the car as you come into the bus stop. Look for the little white line on the ground, and then you want to start braking hard. It's really hard to get this corner right. So, and then left, and then as you come out this corner, back on the pad, little bit of a step out for Manning Grinnan there. That'll hurt his time, but that is one lap of Spa with Manning Grinnan.
First times now coming up on your screen. Mark Robertson currently top of the pile, 1 minute 18.080. We saw quicker times than that in the last session, so I'm pretty sure we're going to see it again. Manning Grinnan managed to do a 2 minute 18.4. That currently puts him in third position. Would have been higher had he not had that small mistake. And obviously, as you just covered, Spa is such a long circuit. It's such a difficult circuit, but it's so famous. Much shorter than it used to be, though, as it used to go around a couple of the towns that are nearby. And now it just seems like it's a little bit more of a relaxing circuit, although still one of the greats.
Yeah, it always will be one of the greats, won't it? Like the old Hockenheim and the original Monza. As we know, those circuits have all had alterations done to them, mainly for the influence of Formula One, just to increase safety. But Spa will always be a legendary circuit. We've seen some fantastic races here over the years, and of course with the Pro Mazda guys today, we might see another one as well.
We saw some great racing last time, and I think we're going to see it once again in race number 2. It's going to be coming your way in just a moment. We're currently 4 minutes away from the end of qualifying, and you're currently looking at the car of, I believe that is Bill Lawrence. No, it's not. It's the other one. It's Mark Robertson, who is currently provisionally pole. Still one more lap to run for these guys. They get 2 laps to have a go at a quali time. Your top 15 up on the left-hand side of your screen, alongside with the numbers, which helps it easier for you guys when I start shouting numbers everywhere. So Mark Robertson at the moment, he's going to be coming out of Fania and into Paul Frere. And also, Tom, I'm going to buy you a poster of the track map of Spa so you know what the corner names are. And I think I'm going to do that for every track we go to in this series. And here we go, Mark Robertson. Let's see if he can improve. Let's see if anyone else we can improve. Keeping a close eye on the timing screens now as he heads up into Blanchard.
Yeah, thanks for the poster, Jack. I'm a little bit like Jenson Button in that way, and Guy Martin. I don't really know the names of corners of circuits. I'm more better suited to engine codes and things like that. So let's see what he can do now. He comes up in, well, Mark Robertson comes up into the bus stop. Can he improve on his time? As I said, don't let the back end slip out. He's done a perfect run there, to be fair. Let's see what the time is as he crosses the line now. That's a 2:17.8, so he's had 2 tenths there on his time. And he's been beaten by John Unsby by literally just 3 thousandths of a second. So it's still all to play for here.
Let's just see what they can do. Manning Grinnan as well is going to go to the top of the pile now it's with the 2:17.761. So everyone seems to be getting it together on the second lap, although Grinnan looks like he's going for another lap. You ain't going to get it, by the way. So 2 laps only took for qualifying. Van der Ven is going to place himself in 4th. Stephen Roshan's a little bit higher at the moment in 5th, with still quite a few guys out running on their final laps.
Yeah, you still have a few guys coming out there trying to improve their times. Great to see Manning Grinnan up there. Bill Lawrence takes pole with a 2:17.5, and that is a brilliant time. So he's pretty much smashed Manning Grinnan's time by over 2 tenths. So cancel out that he shouldn't ever be on the front row of the grid. That was pretty much a stunner, that one.
Biggest shock, Stephen Karkner wasn't able to get a lap time in. He is going to be starting right at the back of your field now, and that's going to hurt him. He's probably going to be taking his point score for the first race as opposed to the second race, unless he can pull something amazing out of the bag. Obviously, he got that win. He cannot top that, so he is going to be taking 4 points out of this. He's going to be he's probably going to be joint championship lead after this race.
Yeah, he's going well. That's unfortunate for him there, to be honest. I mean, as we saw, he did so well in race run, so he'll be kicking himself when he gets back to the garage. But, you know, it's starting from the back. Let's see. It'll be good practice, so you can just treat it as a bit of a practice session and see how many points you can make.
Practice session indeed will help him just improve his racecraft as well, working through the slower cars. And you're just looking on your screen in the car. PJ Sally currently qualifying in 15th. He's 2 seconds slower than your pole sister at the moment with just a minute left. He will make it round to finish this lap and maybe improve. We will wait and see.
Yeah, it's interesting times, these qualifying sessions. As we see Manning Grinnan now coming round for his lap. So through the bus stop there. Let's see what he can do. Comes across the start finish straight. Will he put it on pole? No, he doesn't make an improvement there. So there you go. That looks to be your grid. I don't think there's any other drivers out at the moment, Jack, is there? Or
don't believe so. Everyone has now finished laps who could challenge for the pole. We've still got one more car. No, everyone's down on pit lane. So that is your grid settled. Bill Lawrence is going to be taking your pole with a 2 minute 17.557. Manning Grinnan is going to be lining up second. John Unsby third. Mark Robinson in fourth. Fifth is going to go to Jos van der Ven, and sixth is going to go to Stephen Rostian. Seventh is going to go to John Morgan, with eighth going to Richard Coulomb. Ninth is going to go to Jared Ferguson, and 10th to Remigo de Pasqua.
yeah, Andrew Fiddler takes 11th with Kenneth Baldwin in 12th. Joel Martin in the 27 car takes 13th. Ralph Kemmer in the 73 car takes 14th, and then right behind him is PJ Sally. Michael Hilliard takes 16th with Gianno Raspaldo taking 17th. Rolf Just in 18th. David Riley in the number 14 car in 19th, and then John G. Hill in the number 80 car rounds out your top 20.
21st is going to go to... 21st is going to go to Jose Carlos Campodonico, with Mark Lyson going to be lining up 22nd. Charles Gilly is going to be 23rd with Fred McIntosh in 24th. 25th is going to go to Stephen Cartney, your race one winner, and 26th to Bruce Paul. 27th is going to go to Michael Gorlaski, with 28th going to John Fletcher. 28 car field for race number 2. Everyone just going to be waiting now. 2 minute wait time for everyone to join on the grid. Bill Lawrence is going to be rounding or taking everyone away. I think it's going to be everyone. John Hill just declaring that he is going to pit before the start of the race. An odd strategy there for them. And there we go. That could actually be interesting for him to see how he rides up the order. He's starting down in P number 20. You're currently looking on board. I believe that was with one of the cars up towards the front of the field. There you go, your whole field lining up on the run down towards Blanchimont, and we will be moving in just a few seconds, and I will call you through the start. But first of all, Tom, what are your views going into this race?
Oh, I'm really looking forward to seeing this front row battle. You've got John Unsby, Mark Robertson, Jos van der Ven, Stefan Rosjan, Manning Grinnan and Bill Lawrence all lining up the first 6 places. So this is going to be absolutely fantastic going up the Kemmel Straight. I can't wait for it.
Here we go, everyone moving, the music dies out, it's time to get serious. Another 17 laps of racing here at Spa-Francorchamps. And here we go, Bill Lawrence is going to be leading your field away in that number 17 machine. Jos van der Ven, who finished 3rd last time out, is going to be down in 5th. And Stephen Karkner, who finished 1st last time out, is going to be 25th. Currently looking back from the rear of your rough pace car there, 2x2 coming down into the bus stop. Pace car will pull off to the side and we will be racing here at Spa. Let's have a look what they can do. Bill Lawrence looks like he's trying to get a little bit of a jump. He's already got quite a big gap. Or is he going to wait? No, he's going to go. Off he goes That seemed very early. Green, green, green. Everyone looks like they're away. No incidents coming through the bus stop. A couple of people going a bit wide on the exit, but everyone nice and cleanly away. Up at the front of your field, Bill Lawrence, look at that, already got a big gap. Manning Grinnan has lost second to John Unsby already. Mark Robinson and Jos van der Ven side by side through LaSalle. Stephen Roche is just going to be waiting in the clutches. Here we go. Mark Robinson diving over to the back of the circuit. You can see 3 wide, 4 wide coming out of that corner. A couple of lockups, but back towards the front of your field. Bill Lawrence leading the way from John Unsby and Manning Grinnan in third. And here we go. Here comes Manning Grinnan. He's going to be challenging for that second place already. And is he going to go left? He's going to go left. He's going to try and go to the outside. John Unsby 3 wide on the grass. Look at this, darting all over the place. 3 wide. We haven't even finished the first lap that yet. And here we go. John Unsby, he holds the lead currently. Your new leader is John Unsby. Is Manning Grinnan going to try and challenge? No, he's not. Bill Lawrence may be able to get back in second. No, he's not. So there we go. First few corners there, Tom. Quite intense.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? 3 wide and then a few little wheels on the grass there. So John Unsby's going to be smiling that helmet of his. He's, now the work's got to come into it. He's got to tighten the harnesses up, really think about his race pace, and by the looks of it, he's starting to pull out a little bit of a gap there.
Florestan has just had a small spin coming through Lacombe. He has been rolled from 9th down to the back of your pack, but at the moment John Unsby continuing to hold the lead. Manning Grinnan holding second, John Unsby in third, Mark Robinson in fourth, Bill Lawrence in fifth, Stephen Roche in sixth. He hasn't been someone who we've seen up at the front. Usually dominates when we've seen him. Not at the moment. Richie Kula was 8th. We have a 10-car train for your lead at the moment, Tom. That will probably end up panning out a little bit. I'm just going to watch the front of your field because at the moment it looks like we could have a good battle for the next 17 odd laps.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a fantastic battle, aren't we? I mean, Stephen Roaston's about to look up the side of Van der Ven. I mean, if he can get the run, then that'll be absolutely fantastic. Let's just see at the moment. At the moment, you've got Manning Grinnan starting to, is he gonna get it? So he's in the slipstream now, but he's getting battered in that dirty air a little bit. He's not gonna get it this time into the bus stop. Big lock up there from John Unsby, and they touch. So John Unsby has been spun round. So Manning Grinnan takes the lead, and then you've got Mark Robertson in second, followed by Jos van der Ven.
Unlucky there from Manning Grinnan and John Unsby. Just like Grinnan got a little bit too late on the brakes. Unsby had a little bit of a lock up and around. He went unlucky there for him.
Yeah, so as we can see, Manning Grinnan's going to start pulling out a bit of a lead now. He's going to get his head in the game. Mark Robertson's going to be chasing him down. It wouldn't surprise me if he's going to be right on his gearbox by the end of this Kemmel Straight. Let's see how this pans out now. You've got John Unsby behind him, Jos van der Ven as well, and Stephen Roaston. But Stephen Roaston's a little bit behind at the moment, so he's got a little bit of time to make up.
Let's see how we can do. Are we going to see side by side? Yes, we are. Oh, that was close between Mark Robinson and Manning Grinnan. Mark Robinson there, just the overspeed managing to get him past. Manning Grinnan, though, he's going to try and fight back. John Unsby, Jos van der Ven has managed to be brought into this. Stephen Roaston as well. First time we've seen him in a lead battle for quite a while in the 60 Plus Racing Adventures. These guys are going to be going all out for this lead.
Yeah, let's just hope that it doesn't end in tears. Van der Ven there having a little bit of luck, which upsets his line into that corner there. So Stephen Roaston's now going to be thinking to himself, how can I make this pass? Where am I going to do it? And how am I going to do it? It'll be brilliant to see how he plays this out because, as we know, he's quite an experienced guy, Jack.
He is. He knows how to drive these cars, and the guys who you always see up at the front of this series, you always do. We've got a car around, the number 610. That's Mark Gleason out of No Name. Any damage on that car? Yes, it is. He just spun it on his own. Unlucky there for him. So Mark Gleason, one of the admins for the series, he's back going again. Looking back towards the front of your field. Mark Robinson at the moment is holding that lead, but Manning Grinnan is looking like he might challenge coming down into the bus stop this time. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to challenge into the bus stop, isn't he? For me, that's a risky place to pass, though, because as we saw before, if someone cuts across your nose, then that's when you've got a problem. But as you see, Manning Grinnan's now starting to get the slipstream. He's out of that dirty air. He looks over to the left, so he's going to try and stick it up the inside for the second part of the bus stop. What can he do? Who's going to go later on the brakes? Mark Robertson up the inside, takes a lot of curb there, and then Manning Grinnan up the inside. He's got a fantastic run, but the back end slips out a little bit. So that's brought John Unsby into play now. So as they come towards Eau Rouge, I think these 3 places are going to change an awful lot.
Oh, nearly contact between Manning Grinnan and Mark Robinson. Look at that. Manning Grinnan just got outside, very close there between Jos van der Ven and Manning Grinning as well. They're going to be 3 wide down into Eau Rouge. This is what I wanted to see in race 1 that I didn't get to see. 2 wide into Eau Rouge, 1 car behind. Let's see what happens. Is John Unsby going to back out? No, he's not. So big touch there between Unsby and Manning Grinning. Grinning is in the wall. He's got very big damage on that car. That is his race over. He was up on 2 wheels and out and around he went. Unlucky there for Manning. And he is stopped. That is his race over. Mark Robertson now is going to be... No, he's not. Here comes Jos van der Ven. And I think Van der Ven will be kicking himself a little bit for that one. But I think Mark Robertson's just thinking, oh, that's one less person I've got to contend with.
Yeah, you've also got John Unsby as well, and Bill Lawrence are fighting, and also De Pasca as well. So they're all fighting together. It's a shame. It's a shame that happened through Eau Rouge, but that's always the risk that's going to happen in tight racing. And De Pasca nearly hits Bill Lawrence there. That was extremely close. You couldn't put a cigarette paper between them. This is fantastic racing. It gives Stefan Rosgen the chance to have a look as they go 2 wide now. Looking left, he's backed out. So De Pasca's backed out, but Stephen Rosgen is still hot on their heels right now.
Stephen Rosgen at the moment, he is one of the guys. Look at this, 2 wide coming down into Fania, and these guys, they really know how to race, these guys, and they know how to race well. John Unsby it just looks as though he's dropped back a little bit from your leader of Mark Robertson. Not sure who the car is behind him. That's of course Jos van der Ven. So as we ride on board with the car behind Stephen Rosgen, that is, let me try and find out for you actually, because these guys keep changing. That is Andrew Fiddler. First time I mentioned his name, and he has got a regular name at the top of the 60 Plus Racing Adventures. Good to see you back, Andrew. He's going to go side by side with the Season 1 champion. Let's see what he can do into Blanchimont for the 3rd time. Not sure he's going to be able to do much in the 101, and he's just going to slot back in behind. But Stephen Rosgen now is going to be challenging for the car ahead. That is Remigo de Pasqua. Here we go, side by side into the bus stop. He's going to just duck out of that one. Remigo de Pasqua has managed to make up quite a few positions this lap, Tom. We're now going to see Manning Grinning now tumble down the order because he sat in pit lane with that heavy damage.
Yeah, it just echoes Donington in 93, doesn't it, with Ayrton Senna, the amount of place changes that are happening at the moment. This is absolutely fantastic racing. Let's see if Stephen Rosgen then, as he comes down the hill now towards Eau Rouge and then onto the Kemmel Straight, can he take De Pasqua? What's he going to do? Are they going to go 2 wide? It doesn't look like Stefan Rosgen's got the run, but Andrew Fiddler, my God, boy, he is going quick there. He's pushing hard up the Kemmel Straight. Let's see, is he going to go to the left? Yes, he does. He's starting to go to the left, quite close to the grass there, but it's going to be a 3-way battle into the next corner. I can't make my mind out who's going to take this. So Stefan Rosgen in the middle, looks up to the left. You've got De Pasqua, who goes quite early on the brakes there, but takes a lot of curb, which pushes Stefan Rosgen wide. And Andrew Fiddler coming around the outside, and he does take the place by the looks of it. Can he? Yes, he might. No, so there's still 2 wide going into the next corner. This is fantastic racing. This is Andrew Fiddler does take the position then into No Name Corner as they go through the left-hander. That's absolutely brilliant racing, that is, Jack.
Awesome pass there by Andrew Fiddler. He knows how to manipulate these cars well and race them well. There you go. You can see your 5-car train ranging from Remigo de Pasqua right back to Richard Coulomb. That is some great drivers in that pack. Mark Robertson, Jos van der Ven as well. They're still going to be going up at it, up at the head of your field. They're now coming through Fania, through 12 and 13, down towards Paul Frere, 14 and 15. You can just see that lead. 4 cars now. Bill Lawrence, John Unsby, Jos van der Ven, Mark Robertson. Let's have a look. The 43 runs a little bit wide. These guys, actually, I think the one who's going to be dangerous to watch here is going to be Bill Lawrence, because he's going to have a draft from Unsby, and then he's going to have a draft from Jos van der Ven. But Jos van der Ven, let's see if he can challenge. And here we go, side by side between Bill Lawrence and John Unsby. Let's have a look and see what these guys can do. And they're going to go side by side into Blanchimont.
Yeah, they're going to go side by side now. Bill Lawrence, there he goes, puts it on the curb a little bit, unsettles the car, but he's done it on John Unsby. And then you've got Jos van der Ven, who looks up the inside of Mark Robertson. He's made it stick. So a brilliant move there. That was absolutely fantastic. Fantastic racing. So Jos van der Ven takes the lead from Mark Robertson, and we saw back down into No Name Corner, he was about half a second behind. So into turn 1 then, Mark Robertson has a little look, John Unsby, yeah, so they're going to be now getting into a 4-car train on their way down to Eau Rouge.
Well, Jos van der Ven did just take the fastest lap by the looks of it, but now he's lost it. Bill Lawrence with a 2:16.7. Bill Lawrence is doing quali laps here. In fact, he's doing a quicker lap than anyone did in qualifying, and he's using that draft. Here we go, side by side, Jos van der Ven, Mark Robertson. Van der Ven's going to go to the right, Mark Robertson to the left. I don't think he's got enough overspeed to make it past. Here comes Bill Lawrence in the 17. There is a gap for him to go through, and he is going to go through it. 3 wide, Bill Lawrence into the lead.
Yeah, brilliant pass there, straight for the middle. He knew exactly what he was doing. It's great to see the other drivers there knew exactly where he was on the track, so they positioned themselves correctly. Now, I'm feeling a little bit sorry for Mark Robertson now. He's starting to, he's lost 2 places. He was leading, but obviously he can fight back. But let's not count out John Unsby, Jack. I think he could have a good chance for the win here.
I think he'd have a very good chance to win here. I think anyone in the top 6 could have a good chance to the win here. Maybe 5. Remigo de Pasqua has managed to get his way, Andrew Fiddler has managed to get his way past Remigo de Pasqua as well. Your top 4 at the moment is going to go battling it out. Look at this. Van der Ven is going to be right on the tail of, actually, Bill Lawrence. Yes, Van der Ven's going to try and go around the outside into Fania. He's not going to make it work, and there he is. Bill Lawrence just going to hold that lead. Jos van der Ven in second. We're going to be riding on board with Jos van der Ven. Let's go for a little bit of RaceSpot fan immersion. Here we go, side by side. Van der Ven is going to try and defend that lead, and he is going to be back into the lead, in fact. Good move there by Van der Ven coming through Blanchimont. He's going to hold it on the official standings. He wouldn't have moved, so another lap there for Jos van der Ven. On to lap number 6 with 17. 12 laps remaining, Tom. What do you think so far?
This is brilliant racing. I just think John Unsby's biding his time at the moment. He's sat back there. He's got himself into a decent rhythm. The car's running really well for him at the moment. You've also got Mark Robertson that appears to be doing the same. These boys are just biding their time. At the moment, we've got Bill Lawrence and Van der Ven, who we know they can be quite aggressive drivers. So here we go then. Let's see what Bill Lawrence can do. Mark Robertson's got a fantastic run. It's like he's got DRS. So here he goes. Is he going to go for the middle in a move that echoes Bill Lawrence in the last lap? Yes, he does. It looks like he's going to take the lead. So that's 2 cars at the end of the Kemmel Straight, and Van der Ven sticks it up the inside of Bill Lawrence to take second place.
Here goes Van der Ven. He's keeping that position, isn't he? But Mark Robertson, what a move, my friend. That was awesome. And he is all of a sudden under the attack from Jos van der Ven. And let's see what happens between these 2 guys. Don't forget Bill Lawrence. He's still waiting in the clutches. He's still waiting. John Unsby as well. Actually, Andrew Fiddler, he's had a bit of a problem, I think. Yes, he has. He's dropped back to 7th, so he's had a couple of cars come past him. Now Stephen Rostian and Remigo de Pasqua. That must have happened down the back straight on the Kemmel while we were looking at the lead. Back towards the lead. It just looks as though Mark Robertson at the moment is currently holding it.
Yeah, he's holding it really well, isn't he? He's biding his time now, looking after the tyres of the car and just making sure that these 4 guys behind him do indeed stay there. I'll be interested to see, because now I'd be starting to think a little bit about pit stops now. So as we saw from race 1, Van der Ven came in with 2 laps to go. Do you think he'll pit early this time, Jack?
I think he's got to, after seeing the strategy from the other guys in race 1. He's got to copy them and see if he can make it work. And we've already seen John Hill down onto the pit lane. He's got his pit stop done, and I think these guys are going to be... I would expect them to see in around lap 10, 11, so let's see what they can do. Oh, Van der Ven getting close into the chicane, into the bus stop. He was actually... Look at that. He's pitting early this time. Very early. Let's see what these guys can do.
Yeah, he's obviously taken my advice, hasn't he, from the after-race interviews there. So, as we can see, John Unsby is a little bit behind now. These guys are starting to space themselves out a little bit for pit stops. Stefan Rosjan, is about 3-4 seconds behind the leaders now. Mark Robertson still holding the lead coming up into Eau Rouge as he starts to catch one of the back markers.
Van der Ven has stopped. He is not going to go up onto the jacks. No tyres for him, only fuel. Obviously that famous movie quote, no tyres, just gas. But Mark Robertson at the moment, he's going to be holding that lead. Bill Lawrence is too far behind to challenge. These two are both teammates in the same team. John Unsby as well is going to be third. How many of these guys do you think we're going to see copying Jos Van der Ven's early pit stop strategy, Tom?
I think they'd be mad not to be honest. I think if these guys don't pit this lap, then that's going to seriously hinder them later on in the race, which is what we saw in race one. Now would be the time that I'd start looking after the car a little bit, just settle in a little bit more to the place that you're in, rather than charging hard, because we're only 20 minutes into this race so far, so it's still all to play for here at Spa.
Stephen Rostian, Andrew Fiddler, and it looks like they've got a bit of company from John Morgan. They're going to be going side by side. We just saw side by side between them coming through Lecombe, and it looks as though Stephen Rostian at the moment is going to be holding fourth, but Andrew Fiddler, he is definitely going to be challenging hard. We've seen him come up. He's moved up 6 positions. He is not your biggest mover and shaker so far in this race. That goes to Fred McIntosh down in 13th, but at the moment it looks as though Andrew Fiddler is strong. We could see him challenging for a podium towards the end of this race. John Unsby, Bill Lawrence, Mark Robertson at the moment still running as your top 3 in that order from 3rd to 1st, but at the moment we're also looking at Andrew Fiddler, Stephen Rostian. I've found with these races, and I hope you're finding this too as well, Tom, that there's so many things going on, you don't know where to look.
No, literally, I'm double clicking on every driver to change cameras. But it's really fantastic driving that we've got here. Bill Lawrence is starting to get a little bit through Blanchimont there, starting to get a little bit of a drag. So let's see what he can do. He's got the slipstream now. John Unsby is coming up really fast, so he goes late on the brakes, has a little look. They're too wide into the bus stop. None of them do pit. And John Unsby, if he can make this stick and get the power down, he'll take second. But no, Bill Lawrence got the better run out the bus stop there. So he's still holding on to second. Let's see what they can do into turn 1. So John Unsby brakes a little bit late. He doesn't want to risk that front wing on that Pro Mazda. And as they go towards Eau Rouge, no place changes as of yet, but it was extremely close.
That was extremely close. Awesome racing like we always see in the 60 plus, but here we go. John Unsby again on Bill Lawrence. He is closing, gaining up through Eau Rouge. And just look at this, the overspeed is already apparent. They're going to go side by side through Radeon. Unsby left, Lawrence right. Let's see what they can do. The 61. He's changed his number for this year, I think. And look, they're getting closer. Bill Lawrence looks like he's trying to defend that, but he can't. They're going to go side by side down into Lecombe. What is going to happen between these two cars? Oh, squeeze! Yes, well done, John. Up into second. That was the biggest squeeze we've ever seen, I think. And Mark Robertson at the moment is probably looking at his rearview mirrors going, what are these two doing? There's still another 9.5 laps to go yet.
Yeah, that was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it, from John Unsby? He knew exactly where Bill Lawrence was, and that takes a lot of bravery to do that. But it's given the excuse to Mark Robertson, who to pull out a bit of a lead here. But hopefully Bill Lawrence can put the move on John Unsby, but then again, hopefully John Unsby can take the position back. So we've got a lot of racing. Little bit of a screw there from John Unsby through that corner. So let's see who pits this time. Who do you think's going to come in, Jack?
I'm not sure, but another thing to look at, Andrew Fiddler has managed to make his way past Stephen Rostian and make it stick this time. So Fiddler's up into 4th, but he is not going to be shaking the Season 1 championship champion heart easy. Stephen will put up a fight. We've seen it so much before. Going back towards your lead, I'm not really concentrating too much on Mark. He's got a little bit of a gap now, over a second, so Unsby is out of draft range. Here comes Bill Lawrence. He's going to be looking. Is he going to go left or right? John Unsby is leaving him room both sides of the track. He's going to block Bill Lawrence on the grass. That's going to kill his momentum up into Blanchimont. I think he might have lost his chance unless he goes for a late break lunge onto the bus stop, but I wouldn't recommend it with 9 laps to go. Will any of these guys pit early or will they not? Here we go, side by side into the bus stop. Bill Lawrence, John Unsby. Neither of them pit. They're going to get reasonably close coming through the bus stop, but John Unsby is just going to be able to hold it, getting the better run off the corner.
Yeah, Bill Lawrence there fell out a little bit on the last section of the bus stop. Got a little bit too early on the power on the rear end, stepped out, so he lost his run. These guys now seem to be really settled into their race, but Andrew Fiddler now is coming under extreme pressure from Stefan Roesgen as they come down towards Eau Rouge. He'll be pushing that throttle pedal hard now, giving it maximum power. A little bit of a short shift by the sound of it by Stefan Roesgen there, just to stop the rear wheels spinning too much. So let's see what he can do. Stefan Roesgen is quick through Eau Rouge. He's got that slipstream now, pushing hard, weaving left to right, this way and that way, doesn't know where to go. He's out on the left, so he'll be looking over to the car, and it looks like he's made him stick. But John Morgan now coming through the middle. Andrew Fiddler's going to be thinking, what's going on? Who can make it stick here? Stefan Rosjan, oh, that's tight. That would be a little bit scary if I was in that car, Jack.
That would be extremely scary. Morgan just going for a gap that didn't exist until he put his front nose down there. And Andrew Fiddler, he's gone up really worse out of there, 4th to 6th. Stephen Roshan, though, he's managed to hold it. Everyone's looking the same up at the front. We're going to concentrate on this battle between Stephen Roshan, Andrew Fiddler and John Morgan. Morgan is going to be under pressure from Andrew Fiddler, but Stephen is going to be putting the pressure onto Morgan. Let's see what he can do now. Roshan is going to be, I think he might be okay. Oh, it looks like Andrew Fiddler may have got a little bit of a bad run through Puon, and let's see what he can do now coming down into Fania.
Yeah, Andrew Fiddler there, he'll just be concentrating now, just trying to keep right up the gearbox of John Morgan, just to make sure that he keeps putting that pressure on, because obviously when pit stops come round, you've got a little bit more cleaner air, so you can start putting in some really quick lap times that we've also seen from Bill Lawrence with his magnificent lap times. He's starting to look at John Unsby now, so he's moving out to the outside. Here we go then. This is going to be really, really brave. There's literally a cigarette paper between them, right on the curb. That'll unsettle the car a little bit, maybe drop his momentum, but he's going to stick one up the inside. Yes, he does. Oh, coming up close to Mark Robertson. John Unsby, big lockup. Bill Lawrence backs out of it. I think that was wise, to be honest there, but he's still right all over the back of John Unsby.
John Unsby there, he's defending like a trooper. Bill Lawrence, we know he's quick and we know he can attack, but John Unsby, we know he's a good defender, and Mark Robertson as well. He's been brought back into this. The gap has closed. It's less than a second now. Let's see what they can do. Looking back a little bit, looks as though the battle between Andrew Fiddler, John Morgan and Stephen Roshan has just faded out a little bit. Richard Coulomb has been brought into this. Remigo de Pascua's too far back. And a couple of names creeping into your top 10 now, I probably presume because of pit stops that I haven't seen in our top 10 for a long while. Ralph Kemmerer and new boy Rolf Just. These guys are definitely already showing their names as people who could just be creeping into the top 10 and showing a little bit of the danger as we see side by side between John Unsby and Bill Lawrence. Lawrence wasn't able to get the move done at the moment, and Unsby just holding second at the moment. But Robertson about to come across one of the first back markers as we've got a car round. It's the 101. It's Fiddler. What's happened to him coming through Lacombe? Looks as though he did it on his own, and just too much curve there, Tom. It's the same problem. Curb, floor, spin.
Yeah, it unsettles a car, doesn't it? It's like aquaplaning your road car when you're going up the M25. If you get too much of a curb, the board underneath, the wooden board underneath these cars will just clip the curb, and it pretty much just sends it airborne. So you're just a passenger at that point, to be honest.
Just 7 laps remaining here. No one else from the front has come down onto the pit lane. Currently, your leading car who's been onto pit lane is Jos van der Ven. He is 30 seconds behind your leader of Mark Robertson. He spent 34 seconds on the pit lane. So Tom, could we see Jos van der Ven using the strategy to his advantage, or could we see the shorter stops from the cars ahead of him maybe playing to their hands?
He's a wise old owl, isn't he, Van der Ven, and he'll know that he's pitted early there to get the undercut on the other drivers, something reminiscent of Ferrari a lot of times in F1. So the guys at the front now, Bill Lawrence and John Unsby. John Unsby getting the move done on the back marker, and Bill Lawrence does as well. That's great to see from the back markers with a lot of spatial awareness there. There's not a lot happening with your top 3 at the moment. They're all just sort of settling in. John Morgan's right behind Stefan Rosjan, and then looking further back down the grid as well, you've got Richard Coulomb as well. He's fallen back a little bit from those two guys.
Well, I think it might be time for a quick top 10 update. We are approaching halfway into your race on lap number 11 of 17, just 7 laps remaining here at Spa. Mark Robertson is currently leading from John Unsby and Bill Lawrence. Stephen Roshan is going to be 4th with John Morgan in 5th. Richard Coulomb is going to be 6th with Remigo Pasqua in 7th. Andrew Fiddler is 8th. Ralph Kemmerer is 9th. And Rolf Just is 10th. One of the drivers to keep an eye out for is Jos van der Ven. He is currently down in 12th. He is currently leading as actually John Unsby has made it into the lead. He has managed to draft his way past Mark Robertson. Bill Lawrence couldn't use the draft to his advantage that time, so John Unsby is going to be your new leader coming into Lecombe this time. Let's see what Mark Robinson can do. He is going to be fighting back. Of course he is. He wants that race win. Everyone wants to take them 4 points home. And Stephen Cartner at the moment, he's also come down onto the pit lane. He's currently running down into 14th position, so could look good for a top 10 here, although he will be taking points for his win in race number 1. Bill Lawrence at the moment is going to be watching the 2 guys ahead of him battling, as also it looks like Stephen Rosejohn's got a little bit of traffic in the form of Charles Gilly. Will he be able to get past? Yes, he will. He's just going to come past Gilly, getting a little bit loose, but let's have a look. Mark Robinson's going to be fighting back against John Unsby, and Bill Lawrence behind is just going to be watching and waiting.
Yeah, he'll be biding his time, Bill Lawrence, won't he? He'll be waiting for these 2. But honestly, I think if I was Mark Robertson right now, I'd probably be looking to dive the car into the pits, just so that when you come out, you might have a little bit more of clearer air and people that you are quicker than to go and get passing. You can use their drafts and then wait until the likes of John Unsby and Bill Lawrence do pit so that you can get them on the undercut.
The undercut is definitely going to be one that we're going to have to look out for in this race. It's going to be a big strategical advantage. Do any of these guys come down onto the pit lane, or are they going to try the late pit stop strategy like we saw in the last race? John Unsby currently still leading, although Mark Robinson looks like he might fight back, although maybe he might use this opportunity now he's lost the lead to come down onto the pit lane, get his stop done early. Do any of these guys come down onto the pit lane? Yes, they do. Mark Robinson, Bill Lawrence, the 2 teammates, they both come down. John Unsby at the moment is going to be left to go away. This is where pit stop strategy is going to be important. Stephen Rosejohn stays out. John Morgan stays out. Coulomb stays out. Amigo de Pasqua stays out. Andrew Fiddler, does he stay out? Yes, he does. I think most of the other guys from the top 10 are going to be staying out on this lap, but this is where pit stop strategy is going to be important, Tom. And we see it in so many other series, and we're going to see it in the Verizon IndyCar series that's returning for Friday night prime time at 8 GMT on Friday at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and pit strategy is going to be so important in that.
Yeah, it falls into play, especially with the IndyCar stuff, doesn't it? Because if you're on an oval or something like that, the laps are quite short. So John Unsby now has got a lot of clear air. I mean, Stefan Rosejohn now is only halfway up the Kemmel Straight as John Unsby ends at the Kemmel Straight. So if I were him now, I'd be coming over the team radio and just saying, push like hell, basically. You've got the tyres, you've got the car. Now you just need to start making that gap as big as you can to your main rivals of Mark Robertson and Bill Lawrence.
Mark Robertson has managed to make it out ahead of Jos van der Ven, so at the moment he is provisionally leading for the cars who have pitted. Everyone ahead of him, so Mark Robertson's currently running 10th. We've got the 9 cars ahead of him, plus Jose Carlos Campodonico, who hasn't come down onto the pit lane yet. Everyone else is still yet to pit. John Unsby has got a nice big lead, and actually I think the draft might play into the likes of, I've lost the name now, Jos van der Ven's and Mark Robinson's and Bill Lawrence's hands. And actually, as we just see Mark Robinson getting stuck in a little bit of traffic. That's not traffic, that's for position. That's for Jared Forrester and Rolf. Yes, these guys are battling it out for 8th, 9th and 10th. And actually, I think Mark Robinson will probably clear these guys quite quickly.
Yeah, he should do, shouldn't he? I mean, these guys have been at the top of their game all race. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get past him, to be fair. He's got the likes of John Morgan in front of him, though, and as we've seen from the start of race 1, he is one to be reckoned with. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. As I say, John Unsby, Stefan Rosejohn, they've got a bit of clear air now, but saying that, John Morgan is starting to come up hot, as John Unsby does not pit, and Stefan Rosejohn does. So he's going in for his pit stop now.
Rosejohn taking different... Oh, my words! I've just gone to him to see him rolling in pit lane. He's done an Evolution Racing team there by the looks of it. He's just gone left into the wall, and I think he might have been trying to go to space there, Tom. Rosejohn really got that wrong. That did not end well for him. That's his race over. That's another contender out. Unlucky there for Stephen. I don't know how you manage that. I've seen so many people do it at Spa, and obviously it is a tight pit entry, and these cars, you can see where your front wheels are. I don't see how you make such an error.
He'll be kicking himself, won't he? He'll get back into the pit garage and he'll just be absolutely devastated with what he's done. He was running so well, and you've got to feel sorry for it, but everyone makes mistakes, but you've got to feel sorry for these drivers when they do make mistakes like that.
Ralph Kemmerer down onto pit lane. He is done his stop, 8.9 seconds. He is moving again, just currently falling down through the order, now down to 13th. The only cars left to pit now are Jared Florison, Andrew Fiddler, Remigo de Pasqua, Richard Coulomb, John Morgan, and your leader John Unsby. He is going late, and in fact Jos van der Ven has managed to get his way past Mark Robertson down the straight for P number 7, and he will be challenging Jared Florison next in the number 7 machine. I think Mark Robertson didn't really have much to answer to that, Tom.
No, he didn't at all, did he? But it's now about just getting your pace together and working hard, really. I mean, it's a long lap. It is a long lap, and when you think you've got it completely right, and you can go into the bus stop and completely write off your lap at the end of it. So John Unsby now has got really nice clean air. He's got a few back markers in front of him, but he should pass them quite quickly because the racecraft in this series is absolutely fantastic. John Morgan as well has got a lot of clear air, and Richard Coulomb as well. So with your top 4 at the moment, not that they've all pitted, but with your top 4 at the moment, they're very spaced out. So now it's about just getting in the zone.
Getting in the zone indeed, and that zone they would have been in for the last 13 laps. They're going to be in it for another 4 laps. They're not going to want any distractions, these guys. Is John Unsby going to come down onto pit lane? No. Is John Morgan going to come down onto pit lane? Yes, he is. And is he going to avoid the walls? Yes, he is. Sorry, Stephen. And Richard Coulomb is going to stay out, and so is Remigo de Pasqua. So it looks as though everyone's going to run long. Andrew Fiddler's going to come down onto the pit lane. But here we go. Joe Florison, Jos van der Ven. He's going to go left. Look at the overspeed there from van der Ven. And here we go, down into the bus stop, still side by side, and van der Ven's just got the move done. Looks like Jared Florison might have had a little bit of a challenge from behind from Mark Robertson. Rolf Just is just waiting here. Don't think he's got the pace to answer to these guys. He's around 3-4 seconds a lap slower there, Tom. And at the moment, John Unsby has got a demanding lead of 10 seconds. Jos van der Ven, though, is already back up to 4th. He's ahead of Jared Florison, who hasn't even pitted yet.
Yeah, that's really good going from him, isn't it? That's the difference between, say, a Mercedes and a Minardi. So it's really good going from him. I'm really interested to see how van der Ven comes back into it. It's getting to that stage in the race now where we're not starting to see as much of the exciting stuff we had in lap 1. But it will all come together, I assure you, for you guys back at home at the end of the race.
End of the race indeed. 3.5 laps to go. We just saw a move coming for Jos van der Ven by the looks of it. Florison try to make the move, and Florison not being able to do it. Van der Ven just going to be able to hold that 4th position. Unsby's got to come down onto the pit lane soon. He is out in front for so long, and we've just seen the strategy work for Stephen Carkner in the first race. He's currently running down in 11th. I don't think he's going to be able to make up many more positions in this race. But at the moment, John Unsby is doing so well up the front. I don't know whether he's going to be able to hold it, though, because van der Ven is only 27 seconds behind, and Unsby is going to spend at least 30 seconds on pit lane. I think van der Ven might get the undercut.
I think he will as well, to be fair. I think John Unsby really should have taken the pit stop around when van der Ven going in, to be honest. He'll be, if he does get the undercut, if van der Ven does get the undercut, he'll be absolutely kicking himself in that car wall, John Unsby. But he's got a little bit of back mark. He still doesn't pit now, so this is very, very interesting from him and what he said to the team and everything else about the way he's going to do things in this race. He obviously saw race 1 and saw the telemetry from it and saw that the undercut really was the way to go. So he needs to sort of pit this lap now if he's going to really stand any chance. But van der Ven is coming up really quick.
Van der Ven is just on a charge at the moment. He is going for it, and I've got to say, he's having the drive of his life as Bill Lawrence. Actually, Jared Florison is now coming down onto the pit lane to make his stop. Only another 7 cars or so to make their stop now for the rest of this race. And let's just have a look. Florison is now going to be down onto the lane. Let's see what he's still moving. I'll have a look at his pit stop time at some point. At the moment, everyone else, let's have a look. Van der Ven, Mark Robertson, Bill Lawrence, they're all going to be running in a line. Not going to focus on Lawrence. I'm going to focus on Robertson and Van der Ven. Let's see what they can do. They're going to be running line astern up Eau Rouge, and it just looks like Robertson might have got the better run. Here he comes. He's going to look right. He's going to look left. Van der Ven leaves the gap open on the left. Oh, that's a mistake, and there we go. Robertson's already got the move done. We aren't even halfway down the Kemmel. Can Van der Ven answer? I don't think he's got enough time. He might be able to do it under the brakes. He's looking. No, he's not going to. Robertson is going to make his way back up into 4th. He is currently leading for those who haven't pitted. and he, I think, will take the lead over from John Unsby. I don't think he's done enough.
Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? It's a tricky situation. Van der Ven has now got to get past Mark Robertson if he's going to take John Unsby, I think. Although these guys are on an absolute charge. I think Van der Ven was wise to back out of that move. But in the end, he's still got a little bit of opportunity to take the position again, but he doesn't want to fall too far back to fall into the hands of Bill Lawrence right now. So Bill Lawrence is a little bit wide on the exit there, but they need to maintain themselves now. You don't want to be pushing massively hard at this stage if you're at the front. So Mark Robertson, I'd just be focused on defending my line and just keeping these two really quick guys behind me.
These quick guys, they're definitely going to be hard to fend off. Let's have a look. Does John Unsby bring it down onto pit lane? He's got to, surely. Yes, he does. John Unsby is going to pit. So Mark Robertson, let's keep an eye on this. I think he's going to retake the lead now, and I think Bill Lawrence and Van der Ven will manage to get past as well. Let's have a look. Is Bill Lawrence going to be able to challenge Van der Ven for what is essentially third? We've only got 2 more laps remaining in this race, and it's going to go right down to the wire. Van der Ven's going to make a move on Mark Robertson down into the bus stop. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. They're going to go side by side, and John Unsby, he has stopped, and he is getting serviced, and so is Richard Coulomb in just a second. And here we go, top 3. Van der Ven is going to be leading, Bill Lawrence in second, Mark Robertson third, and it just looks like John Unsby, he's got moving, but he's just going to miss it. No, he's not. They're going to come out. Oh, he might have done it, Tom. No, Van der Ven goes past. I think Bill Lawrence and Robertson might have just a slightly better speed on him.
Yeah, they're going to have a better speed, but this is going to be a fantastic run into Eau Rouge. Oh, they touch a little bit. So Mark Robertson and John Unsby touch a wheel.
Whoa!
He's off. He's off. He is off now. So Mark Robertson and Jos Van der Ven take over the lead, and you've got John Unsby who's going to start catching that place. Really sorry for those guys there. Just a little mistake from him coming up into Eau Rouge. But these guys at the front are going to start fighting now. So Mark Robertson, is in the lead, followed by Jos Van der Ven. John Unsby is coming up hard, but bear in mind, he's just pitted, so the car's going to feel a little bit fresher after the pit stop and those sort of things. So this is going to be a fantastic 3-way fight, and we've only got, what, a lap and a half to go?
Lap and a half to go indeed. Here we go. John Unsby, Jos Van der Ven, Mark Robertson. These guys have shown such good racing over the last 2 races. They've just got... Ooh, hang on, I've got to do a bit of maths in my head now. About 13.5 kilometres left to go now. It's still quite a way. Still a lot could change. John Unsby looks like he might be a little bit behind these leaders. I think he's going to be Jos Van der Ven and Mark Robertson who could take it, but do not count out John Unsby. He is quick, he is rapid, and he will take this if he wants. Van der Ven is looking scary at the moment to Mark Robertson's lead.
Yeah, he is, as they start to come up towards the bus stop and everything else along this straight as well. So John Unsby's a little bit too far behind now, so let's go on board with Mark Robertson on my screen. So Van der Ven having a little look. He's got the slipstream now, but is he going to hold back into the bus stop? He doesn't want to ruin his race at this point. Starts weaving this way and that way. He's looking towards the left, but no, he seems to have backed out of that move there. Mark Robertson takes the inside line, bit of a lock-up just to defend his position, but Van der Ven has got quite a good run out of there. This is going to be... So here we go then. On to your last lap. Jack, who do you think is going to take it?
Oh, I don't know. It's definitely going to be what we saw last time, I think. It's going to be a last-minute lunge into the bus stop. Here we go. Yeah, Van der Ven's got a good run. Oh, that's a big hit there from Van der Ven and Robertson. John Unsby, he's going to walk away with this now. He has surely won this race. Robertson is on his roll bar. Van der Ven is trying to get away. Don't get in. Oh, that was close there. Oh, what a heartbreak for those two. That's horrible there. John Unsby is going to definitely take this win. Robertson is still sat on his roof. He's going to be fuming after that.
Yeah, he'll be like Schumacher in Spa-98 when he ran into the back of David Coulthard. He'll be walking down pit lane in absolute fury. So it's one of those things, isn't it, as we always say, Jack, that is racing in the end. I mean, John Unsby is going to be grinning from ear to ear in that car right now, and the team will be over the radio absolutely applauding him. Bill Lawrence is the only real threat to him that could get it, but in my opinion, he's just too far back now.
I don't think he's got the speed. I don't think he's got it at the moment. It's about 4 seconds between Bill Lawrence and John Unsby, and John Unsby at the moment he's just walking away with it. Half a lap to go here, down into Puon for the final time. The number 4 car of Amigo de Pasqua is off at Lecombe and Malmedy. What's happened here? He's had a tangle. He's had a tangle with Stephen Karkner, and it looks as though Karkner's managed to get away unscathed, but Amigo de Pasqua's day is over on the final lap. Heartbreak there for him. It's all happening on the final lap now. And at the moment, it just looks like John Unsby is going to walk away with this. Might have a little bit of a gap, a battle between Bill Lawrence and who's this stepping up onto the 3rd step of the podium at the moment? John Morgan. Look at that. He is up. And Stephen Karkner, Tom, he's up 21 positions. He's in 4th.
Yeah, I think he's got to be my driver of the day, to be honest. You know, he won race 1, and then race 2 he started from the back. He'd be disheartened about that, but he's come back up. He's done fantastically well, considering as well, you know, this is a fixed series as well. This is all down to driver talent. So from me, Stephen, you're my driver of the day.
John Unsby then is going to take race number 2 here at Spa of the 60+ Racing Adventures. Heartbreak on the final lap there from Mark Robertson and Jos van der Ven. Van der Ven is going to come over the line in 5th. Bill Lawrence is going to take 2nd, and John Morgan in 3rd. Mark Robertson is unlucky for him. Van der Ven is going to cross 5th. Stephen Karkner in 4th. Driver of the day for me as well there. Richard Cullum is going to cross the line in 6th. We will go down to the grid after everyone has finished. But first of all, Tom, that last lap, how could you just make it more intense and more entertaining? This is such a good series, and it always produces good races, especially at the draft circuits like this.
Yeah, that's just fantastic racing. I feel really, really, really sorry for Mark Robertson there. He just got a little bit too wide, and it just stepped out, and it caused the car to roll over. But what an absolutely fantastic race. As I could say, brilliant stuff. I couldn't choose between race 1 and race 2, could you?
I'm not sure. I really don't think, and I just don't really know. They're both amazing races. Well done to the winners, John Unsby and Stephen Karkner, and I think Stephen Karkner has to take it for best driver of the day. You don't win and then go up 21 positions in a race for nothing, Tom, and it's such a good series, this series. Just waiting for the final few cars to cross the line now, and we'll head down to your final finishing standings. But I think from what we've seen so far, it's been such a good evening of racing here at Spa-Francorchamps. And it's what do you think first time seeing the series, Tom?
I absolutely love it, and from now on I'll be tuning into the series a lot more. It was absolutely brilliant racing. I just want to thank all the guys that raced tonight. I hope with you at home you enjoyed it as well. Absolutely brilliant, so close and intense. It was almost like GT3, to be honest.
So then down to your final positions. John Unsby will take the win for race number 2, and all he had to do was keep it clean and keep it steady. His strategy seems to work in the end, gaining from others' misfortune. 2nd is going to go to Bill Lawrence, and 3rd is going to go to John Morgan. 4th is going to go to Stephen Karkner, with 5th going to Jos van der Ven, having slight contact with the car of Mark Robertson on that final lap. Richard Cullum is going to finish 6th. Andrew Fiddler, unlucky day for him. Few problems, is going to be 7th. Rolf Just is going to be getting into the top 10 on his first event in 8th, and Ralph Kemmerer in 9th. Jared Ferguson is going to round out your top 10.
Yeah, Joel Martin in 11th there, with Gianni Raspaldo down in 12th. Fred McIntosh in 13th. Followed up by John Hill in 14th. So good race for him there in the number 80 car. Jose Carlos Campodonico finished in 15th place, David Riley in 16th, with Michael Gorowski in 17th. Following up from him is Manning Grinnan, as we saw. Unfortunate for him, he started really well down in 18th. Marcus Lyson in 19th, and rounding out your top 20, bless him, is Mark Robertson.
21st, and your non-finishers are Rodrigo de Pasqua, PJ Sally, Charles Gilly, Stephen Roshan, Michael Hillard, John Fletcher, Kenneth Baldwin, and Bruce Paul. Right, we're going to do 2 quick-fire interviews, Tom, because you are new to RaceSpot. All we're going to do 1 question and thank you to these guys. We're currently reaching our time limit at the moment. So, first of all, joining me is going to be our race finisher in position number 2. It's going to be Bill Lawrence, and he is standing beside with Tom Jacobs.
Hiya, Bill. Yeah, great race. Fantastic to see. Did you think at any point that you were going to get second? You had a great battle out there.
No, I didn't. Actually, I messed up on the pit stop and got separated from my teammate, Mark Robertson. But yeah, that kind of messed me up a bit. So second was a surprise.
Yeah, great job from you. Sorry to say we're running out of time, but thank you very much for racing. It's been brilliant seeing you tonight.
Okay, thanks, guys. And John sends his apologies. Bye for now.
Yeah, I saw that. There you go. That's Bill Lawrence. And Bill, just before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank?
No, once again, just the team and you guys for your coverage. Do a great job. See you next time.
Well then, Bill Lawrence is your second place finisher, and we are going to be quickly joined by the driver who finished third, a surprising third as well, is going to be John Morgan and the 177 machine. And John, first of all, you're on the podium. How does that feel for you? Obviously, you were just sat watching all the carnage ahead of you.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way it went. I really didn't have the speed today, so it was more about strategy and being patient and making a really good pit stop. I think my pit stop, at least saved my position and maybe moved me up a couple. But yeah, this is a track that can produce some carnage, so it's not a bad strategy to kind of watch what's going on in front of you.
And obviously, just looking forward, one more quick question. Looking forward to the rest of the season, are you hoping for similar results?
I do, but I'm just outside that top fast group there. So I try to be consistent and make my points where I can. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the season. This is a great group of guys. Just a lot of fun to race with. And, everybody that works on this league has just done a fantastic job.
And before we let you go, John, who would you like to thank?
Well, the guys who run the league, Joel and Mark in particular, and Richard, my teammate, for doing the weekly post. These are the guys that really put in the work to make this happen. And thanks to you guys, because you guys do a super job with our broadcasts.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, that is John Morgan. He finished third today, final step of the podium. Tom, just before we round up this broadcast, what's your thoughts on this race?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant stuff. The guys did really, really well. You got a couple of cars there coming up through the grid, the likes of Stephen Karkner. You got big incidents at the end of both races, locking up. Mark Robertson sliding to the side of Van der Ven. So a brilliant race. I hope you all enjoyed it at home.
And obviously, just final thoughts from me. Obviously, we've got 2 more broadcasts this season, and I think they're going to be just as good as what we've seen today. So this has been a RaceSpotTV production for RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live of the 60 Plus Racing Adventures Round 1 of Season 6 from Spa-Francorchamps. I have been Jack Siles, alongside has been the wonderful Tom Jacobs, and up in the production truck has been Hugo Luis. Very special thanks goes to Istvan Balal for our track cams of trackcams22.com. Our overlays designed by Andreas Werner, also designer of Valtteri Bottas's Formula 1 helmet for this year. Overlay animation thanks goes to Simon Grossman of App Engineer IN, making ATVO, sorry. And our live timing over on RaceSpotTV has to go is thanks to Nick Thisson. We have been RaceSpotTV. This has been the 60 Plus Racing Adventures from Spa-Francorchamps. And remember, don't look at the floor, look up at the sky.